What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and kicking things off on the official side of things, Jason Renfro.
In streaming it.
With the dollar holler, a Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Thank you so much for joining us here. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yes, guys. And here's our preseason preview, 2023 style. But we did game 1, Jacksonville, last week at home. Now we're at Seattle for game 2. 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. Mountain is 8. And out there in the Pacific Coast, where it's going to be played in Seattle, it is a 7 p.m. game. So stay tuned right here with us. We're putting the cameras on tomorrow. Going to get the reaction live stream, breakdown play-by-play, have this watch party with the family as we break down all these guys you see, literally all these guys you see on your screen, every single one of them. Important for tomorrow, and a lot of guys to watch for, a lot of matchups to talk about here tonight. We'll get into it all here on My Cowboys Family. But before we get there, baby, we got to talk about those that make the thing keep going on the nightly, make the world, the MCF world go around here. And it starts with that sponsor of the week and that Cash App King. He's the same person, and you know why he's here.
Snug X.
Yes, much love
representing on both sides of the board there.
Yeah, much love to the Snug representing it here. Appreciate you and repping that star over everything.
And of course, Jason Renfro bossing that stream around. Thank you so much, Jason. Who, by the way, he's not just bossing the stream around. He is gifting memberships there. Because thank you so much, Jason. Gifting a membership to Double R.
Double R gets the membership. Did it pop up on the screen?
Yes, it did.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I looked away for a second. I didn't hear the drop. Much love, Jason Renfro, once again. 36 points in the stream boss. But another gifted membership, getting closer and closer to Skeptical Fan on that top spot. And by the way, if you guys looked here, you know, Jason Renfro was literally first place today when I redid the numbers and checked everything, jumping over Skeptical Fan as we went overnight here. So I wanted to make sure I give a big shout out to Jason Renfro on the overall board. Skeptical Fan still leading the gifting membership, of course, 3 months in a row for him. He's trying to take it back. I think he's up now 8-6, if I'm not mistaken, after that gifted membership. So it's a close battle here as we get into the weekend. And Jason's, though, he's got the back-to-back wins in the gifted membership, so he's going for a three-peat, trying to edge closer. Bobby Bottle's also on the mix there. And, baby, of course, when it comes to the overall board, like I said, Skeptical Fan had it most of the week. Jason jumped him late last night. And in the Cash App side, we had El Fuego, who was on fire there as the Cash App leader. But today, pre-stream, Snug X has taken the lead on both boards, guys. A $100 holler. And he has taken over the top of the overall board with his first drop of the week and the Cash App lead as well. Trying to go back-to-back on both boards. He's trying to take over the whole training camp season right now, it looks like, in the preseason. So much love to Snug X as he is now officially in first place on both sides of the board. And again, reiterate, Skeptical's up 8-6 to 4. I think Bobby Bottle's at 4. Jason Renfro is 6. And Skeptical got 8 in the gifting membership side of things. Of course, don't forget, star level members every single day, but today's the star and the silver level members that get the shout outs. And, we can mix them all in there. Baby, shout out the star level members here.
Of course, you have Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Jason Renfro, much love to you. Skeptical Fan always. Staying skeptical. Andy Potched, representing. Mary Alvarez, thank you so much. And, of course, LC all the way from Australia.
And that's the star level. The silver level, you got Mr. A. Lavelle. You got Bobby Bottles in the house. And we got Marissa Sparkle back in here, guys. Much love to Marissa and everybody here in the silver level. So every Fan Friday, silver level shout-outs. I'm going to give a shout-out to the Q-Man, Justin Quarles. I know he's trying to get back in the silver level. So there's an homage to the Q-Man.
You can't keep a good man down.
Yeah, I hope he's able to get back in there. I don't know what's going on YouTube side. Other people seem to be able to get in there, so I don't know. I wish we could help out the Q-Man and get him back in the silver level membership where he was last time. Either way, appreciate everybody on all fronts here. And there's gifting memberships. You can get the member. You could jump in and just grab a membership here. A lot of perks coming around the corner here when it comes to some raffles on the way here for the season. But also, you got the super chat, which you just saw here. You saw gifting memberships. So appreciate everybody on all fronts. The thanks button. There's 4 other ways, though, you're not too aligned with through the YouTube side of things. And I'll take away Snug X. He's in the lead across the board, but there's 4 other ways to help out the Cash App side. The Cash App crown. the king of the Cash App. This is how you get in it.
And of course, you have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, your regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link that lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Yes.
So,
and as we open the thing up, baby, it's time to see, again, we talked about the drops of love, talked about the support for the channel. Appreciate you guys, all you guys, again, listening to these advertisements in a way, right? It's the MCF experience, though, right here on My Cowboys Family. And as I open this up, baby, I want you to let me know who's in the house to talk about this preview for really, versus Seattle, but it's about our team. And I'll talk some matchups, but it's about our team. Who's in the house to talk about this tonight?
Eric Wallace, hello and hi. And of course, Eric's not just any old person coming through here. He is a Seahawks fan, so he's prepared to take the shit. I'm sure we're going to be throwing him a little bit here in the chat. So just little jokes. Anyway, hold on. Rodriguez, much love. Appreciate you. Asmodeus in the house. You already know.
Yeah.
Jason Renfro, much love to you, stream boss. We have Retro Scotty in the house. Hello and hi. Q Ball, much love. You know it. Mario Roberts, hello. What's up? Double R representing.
Double R. Back in the membership.
Yes. We have House Nelson in the house. Daniel Berry Sports, what's up? Haley94 Ware representing. We have Cactus G in the place to be. Let's see who else is here. El Cool, hello and hi. Much love. Scorpio, hope you're doing good. Landlord from Wakanda, what's up? Jason Renfro, once again. We got Freedom First, who actually was first today.
No, Scorpio was first. Scorpio was first. Yeah.
Oh, true. That's right.
Scorpio got in there.
First,
so sorry, first. Freedom is second today.
Sorry, I guess just Freedom.
Oh, and Jason Renfro is last here with that $1.60 holler here, the super chat, and a Go Cowboys. You know the deal. He's always repping that star for everything.
Thank you, Jason. And of course, yes, Go Cowboys. Always appreciated. Much love. And appreciate all the love in the chat, guys. Again, glad you guys are having as much fun being here at My Cowboys Family as we're having doing it. So hopefully we're all having lots of fun hitting like, right?
Hit that like.
If you haven't already.
Sub it up.
Hit the bell.
Ding.
Anyway, let's go ahead, baby.
Let's roll.
Talk Cowboys to me and Cowboy Jason, of course.
Yeah. Well, how about we'll start with NFL. I'll warm you up with some NFL news, info, and updates first. So Tyreek Hill. This is something that I found interesting. He doesn't watch game film when he prepares for his opponents. Instead, he plays Madden. That's how he prepares. He does this the night before a game to check the ratings of the cornerbacks that he'll be facing. He said, quote, I see their awareness ratings, their speed rating, their strength rating, and that's how I get a good tell on them. Wow. It's a new world out there where Tyreek Hill is looking at his opponents at the cornerback positions and seeing their Madden ratings and playing against them, let's say, the night before to kind of get a feel for the way they play. It's insane. But, hey, they're copying. Tyreek's like, I got to do what MCF does and do those simulations and see where their strengths and weaknesses are. I love it.
Sorry, honey, but my coach told me I had to play 2 hours of Madden tonight.
Yeah, I gotta study for my opponent,
I'm not saying
I'm working.
I'm not saying it's not valid. It's actually pretty creative, not surprising, and also very, very cool. We obviously, one of the, rest in peace simulations. But one of the reasons that we enjoyed the simulations so much was because it basically gave us a chance to do something similar.
To check it out from the other side.
Just playing it.
He's doing a very similar thing,
like an MCF simulation. Yeah,
very similar right there, guys. So, Tyreek Hill, he's doing something interesting stuff. Not watching game film, playing Madden. I guess it's like Kyler Murray. I don't know, maybe.
Look,
too soon.
Look, everybody has their process, I suppose. And it's not like he's just like, oh, I'm just like, I don't know, consulting with tarot cards and like staring up at the sky and doing nothing. Like, he is doing football stuff to like get himself up and ready to go on what the other team is going to be doing. Right, Double R?
Double R in the house.
Holler. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And he said, Jason Renfro, respect for all you do for the channel.
Yes, that is true. That's coming from a Seattle Seahawks fan. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody has to be a Cowboy fan, but you respect us. We respect you. We have good discussion. In fact, I want Double R's input tonight because I'm actually talking about some matchups. And I know, listen, preseason, I don't care who wins or loses, but it's more about I want to see who we're getting tested against. That really matters. Last week we talked about the the matchups that mattered.
Cowboy fan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Double R. I'm sorry. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the other guy in the chat who said Eric Wallace. I just saw him in there. I apologize, Double R. He's a Dallas Cowboy fan.
And he said that's one way of doing your homework, lol. So.
I guess, yes. Oh, sorry, let me shut
like
up for a second. Because Double R is a member here for a month. And gifted, yes.
Membership there by Jason Renfro. Shout out to you, Double R.
And I do apologize for confusing you with Eric Wallace, who's a Seattle fan. I do want to hear Eric Wallace's thoughts, though, on the Cowboys. I hope he's still in here. And thank you. Thank you, Double R, once again, with the drops of love and the membership shout out there after getting that gifted one from I'm sure, Jason Renfro, Skeptical fan, or Bobby Bottles. So appreciate all you guys there. Double R repping that star for everything. So, anyways,
back to you.
So anyway, that's one bit of the NFL news. A couple other ones here. And the Lions, they're waiving their injured receiver right now, Denzel Mims. He's a guy the Cowboys people were saying we should pick him up. Receiver from formerly of the Jets, now with the Lions, now a free agent. He is waived after a practice ankle injury led him basically to have now a calf injury while in rehab. So not a good year so far for Denzel Mims, and he had impressed in training camp for the Lions. So again, a lot of people saying when he gets healthy, it could be a guy that's out there to maybe get signed. If you think the Cowboys need another receiver, you might say you want Denzel Mims. I say, Jalen Tolbert's looking better and better. We're looking to try to squeeze receivers into our roster. Yeah. I don't know if Denzel Mims will be a good pickup for the Cowboys. Now, our opponent here in the end,
we're just not in a position where we need him.
It's not an overwhelming need right now for 1 year. If we were lacking, I could understand it. We're not lacking really a receiver right now. So the Commanders, another NFC East opponent, Ron Rivera, head coach of the Commanders, named Sam Howell as their starting quarterback for Week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. Ron Rivera said, quote, "I talked with Eric Bieniemy and Tavita Pritchard yesterday, and after our first preseason game, and after both, I also spoke with them after both joint practices, and I'm going to name Sam Howell as our starter this year going forward." So Sam Howell, he's going to meet this Cowboy defense. Yes. I think he might shit his pants.
Oh, by the way, what's up, John Montgomery? No drinking tonight.
No, not tonight. But
thank goodness for us.
Maybe a little tomorrow to celebrate another Cowboy game. But we're trying to take it easy on that. We're going to say for a big celebration here, probably for our 25,000. But now we're at 26, and we're like 600 away from 27. So, you never know. By the time we get to 27, we might be celebrating the 25,000 membership, not membership, but subscriber count here. And guys, we never thought we'd get this. It's just about us, like, putting out information of our Cowboys, talking about our Cowboys, and we appreciate every new family member here, an old school family member from the beginning, like John Montgomery, been here for a long, long time. So, appreciate everybody. Hit that like, subscribe, and go Cowboys. Rip that star. Now, that was, I thought very interesting. Just a couple of different things out there floating around. This is bad news here for a guy that used to be on our Cowboy team. We played with the Eagles, Rams, Dolphins, Bears, and of course our Cowboys defensive edge rusher Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn was arrested in South Carolina. Why? He was booked in a Dorchester County jail at around 8 a.m. Friday morning in a hit and run.
Oh, shit.
And assault charges. By the way, this is a Fan Friday. I forgot to mention that. But yes, Quinn also, not Dan Quinn, Robert Quinn, edge rusher, I think the last team was the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken, has been accused of crashing into 4 cars,
Jeez.
A light post, and a gate. All right, so he's obviously
busy.
Yeah, it's not good there. And then he's accused of leaving the scene during a wild incident. That's what I guess they're kind of seeing that it went down there.
They're charging him.
Yeah, and that was in Somerville. And that kind of, again, this was Friday. He was arrested, but this happened on Tuesday. It seems like. Now, the report also claims that Robert Quinn struck a woman in the face after she confronted him about the accident, and he reportedly fled the scene on foot after colliding with yet another vehicle. So, bad situation for Robert Quinn right now. Now arrested. I don't know what his future holds, but long way from the Cowboys.
Said it. Robert Quinn snapped.
Yeah, it sucks because again, he Dolphins. We kind of resurrected his career. He was on injuries over there with the Dolphins, looking good there, but had injury. I think it was the Rams first, Dolphins next. We traded for him. He did great with us. Went to the Bears, slowed down a little bit, then did really good. Went to the Eagles, didn't do crap. And now he's ups and downs in his career, but this is the biggest down right now. I hope the best for him, guys. Now, again, he did something. If he did something like this, then he needs to pay the consequences to that. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, a guy we've talked about multiple times. He went to visit the Ravens, and now today he did sign with the Yeah, he signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Jadeveon Clowney, a 1-year contract, getting a situational key pass rusher now, you can say. He's going to complement Odafe Owe and David Ojabu off the edge as a pass rusher there. It's a 1-year deal for Jadeveon Clowney, worth a maximum of $6 million. So, again, if he can produce like he did, he won't, but he can produce somewhat close and give some kind of impact. That's not a bad deal for $6 million maxed out with all the incentives and everything. The Cardinals. Now, let's talk offensive line real quick. This is in the NFL. This is major for me. A former Cowboy got signed today. Arizona Cardinals signed Braylon Jones. You remember Braylon Jones, undrafted last year, played for the Cowboys. I think he was on the practice squad a little bit. Center guard kind of position, their interior lineman from Houston. The Houston college team. So the Cardinals signed him to a 1-year deal. Like I said, he also went back to Houston to play for the USFL, the Houston Gamblers, and was on the Cowboys before that. So good luck to Braylon Jones. But I remember Braylon Jones. He's not going to give you very good depth. I think our depth right now might be better than Braylon Jones. So, I'm willing to stay where we're at right now.
At least on that side of things, where we're not having to revisit the past and dig down deep into the well of, old, crusty players.
Well, again,
so, old and crusty in the sense of they
young.
were formerly on our team.
yeah. Rehashed guys.
They're not exactly giving us what we're trying to get.
Yeah. Listen, Braylon Jones.
Like you said, has no bearing
Braylon
on his
Jones
actual age.
Is a practice squad guy, so it's like. Yeah,
the Cowboys are looking
Cardinals.
for him to fix
We got a lot of
problems or add significant depth.
Our depth is full of practice squad guys right now, so we don't need to add another guy.
5 other Braylon Jones, and they're all named Josh Ball.
Basically. But here's the thing. Here's a guy that I think that we need to take a look at.
Okay.
And his name is Jason Peters. Now, today, 9-time Pro Bowler, of course, mostly, think about the Bills. Of course, the Eagles, most of his career, played with us last season. Jason Peters was a great mentor for Tyler Smith specifically, but that helped as a guard or a tackle. He, of course, is a free agent still. And today he said he still plans to play this season. This would be his 20th NFL year, 20th NFL season in the NFL. He started his career back in 2004. He was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. I would bring him back at this point. At this point, what we see with our depth, all we've seen was our depth when it comes to the offense in practice, in training camp, off-season crap, and preseason so far. We'll see it again tomorrow. It's going to be all backup. So to me, it doesn't look good. You bring Jason Peters, you got a bona fide, definite, I would say, a backup above the rest. Even if he's old, if he plays a game or two, can he last? I think the answer is yes. He seemed to last year, and he did do bad. He could be better. Obviously, he's not what he's ever going to be in the past, what he was in the past, but he is better than everybody on our team right now. So to me, this is one of those situations where I don't care about taking up a roster spot to cut Josh Ball. In this scenario, cut Josh Ball. We don't need his depth. And put in Jason Peters on the squad. That's what I would do. And you get him for on the cheap. In my opinion, you get him really cheap. So he displayed great veteran leadership mentorship with Tyler Smith last year. You can still do it with the depth guys that are still hanging on at the bottom of our roster, whoever makes the team. Jason Peters would be a great guy that could help Walesko, help Ball if he makes the team in any way. Farniak, Austin Richards, who's a guy we're going to watch, number 76. That would be that along with what he can provide as just kind of like a clogging up the dam if it breaks, and holding back some of the water from falling on us. I think that's where Peters would be better than the other guys. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to protect this team from blowing the whole season because we got to go delve into our backups or beyond that. That'd be horrible. Jason Renfro dropping that 1-2. J. Lou dollar holler right there.
Ooh, and he said, "How far am I behind?" Go Cowboys.
I'll do some mathematics here for Jason. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it earlier, but we did have a pre-stream drop. So, but real quick, Eric Wallace, yeah. So basically, none of our starters are playing. No, I'm just saying.
I'll go into that in a minute because again, there are a couple.
There's always a handful of guys that are technically starters that do play, but any of the actual big names.
The star guys not playing. Yeah, the stars. Starters there's a couple playing. Stars
are not.
None of them.
Oh yeah, so we have to protect our Dallas Cowboys stars.
Stars over everything.
So let me roll back here a little bit more. Real shit. It's even we think it's a little early to start the Jerryisms today so far. So anyway, Cowboy said Peters is a great spot starter. Get the ball out of. Let me see. Get ball out of in the practice squad. So
exactly.
one thing that I will say about Peters, I don't know if you touched on this or brought this up, but I know that part of the concern is, can he last long enough?
Because for what, though? That's my question. Well, we only need him for a game or two sometimes,
I know,
right?
But supposedly, the word on the street is that teams are not as interested in Peters because it looks like he won't be able to physically hold up for an entire season. And obviously, like you said, if he's a depth player, he doesn't have to hold up for an entire season. He just needs to hold up for like a game or two. But
that's what I'd be looking at. I think he'd be an upgrade for our depth, and that's our biggest hit. That's our worst place on our team. Nowhere starters. It's the depth, and it's specifically the depth on the offensive line. This guy here, as far as what's left out there, he's the best guy that fits our team. That we know him, he knows us. I think it'd be a perfect fit at this point to bring him back on the cheap. For maybe he'll play a couple of games. And that's all. He can survive a couple of games. That's fine. I think he'll be fine with that. I'm updating the board here because Jason Renfro is at 6 right now with the gifted membership. Sorry about that. And he's about, I don't know. I think I'm gonna say it's definitely higher than Deuce Vaughn. 42. It's definitely more than that, but it's not much more than that. All right. It's below. It's somewhere below Sean Lee and Deuce Vaughn. Jason Renfro. That's how far back you are. But first, who's in the house? Brandon James Shea giving us some NFL news. What did he have to say, baby?
I appreciate you with that $5 holler. He said, former Tennessee wide receiver Jalen Hyatt scores first NFL touchdown with the New York Giants. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, go Cowboys. He actually had a bad drop in his first attempt. They threw the ball and it hit him in the hands and he dropped it. I'm pretty sure he was, but then he made it back up for the Giants. They scored 21 points. They're basically with their. They look pretty good for a preseason game. But don't, again, like I always say, it's preseason, right? So don't, it's take it with a grain of salt. I mean, the Giants definitely on the I would say on the rise when it comes to all these teams, in the NFC. So somebody to definitely watch. That's our first game this year. Starts in New York on Sunday Night Football. So keep an eye on the Giants. But I think our defense is something they never met before, and Daniel Jones is going to be a bit rattled, in my opinion. So, anyways, much love, Brandon. And Jason with 35 points, the overshown points, right? That's Jason Renfro's guy right there. So, we're going to talk about all these guys here in a minute. Again, hit the like, subscribe, and that notification bell. And I'm talking offensive linemen, Braylon Jones, Jason Peters. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, to me, it'd be a great pickup. And I think most of the people in the chat agree. Like, that'd be a good pickup for us. Now, former Super Bowl champion, Rob Gronkowski. He was, what was he? He was on some show. I don't know what it was, but he was basically asked, who do you have winning the Super Bowl in 2023? And he said, quote, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
End quote. So, again, he seems...
I have to admit, that's pleasantly surprising, but surprising.
Yeah, again, what they say is what they say. He didn't really have much context, but I'm sure we can say the defense is part of the reason. So, the point is, Rob Gronkowski believes in the Cowboys. Just threw it in there just so you guys, got a little, no, it's not just us, the fan base, being, crazy about the way this team seems to have a lot of the things we need to go get that sixth Super Bowl for our history here. We all see it, and others outside are starting to see that too, minus the haters. Now, as far as our Cowboys, guys, Oxnard is no more. All the stuff was shipped back to Frisco, Texas, and the rest of the people, they went to Seattle today, guys. Yes, Cowboys went on the planes today. Took a little, jump over to the off the Pacific coast there, North Pacific, and landed up in Seattle. I know a lot of the people, whether it's journalists and others. Oh, much love, Barbie.
No, thank you for summing it up.
Saw your movie in the house. Welcome to the family. No, I was going to say that, I know a lot of reporters, some of the staff people took a bus and they went around the coast. Man, it looks beautiful. I do like that Pacific coast, like the way it looks, it feels. I'd go visit there one day.
Very pretty.
Yeah. So, but anyways, the Cowboys got to fly over there, just jump over to Seattle, and they're nice and comfy there now. Now, the Cowboys, this Oxnard portion of camp is now officially over. So, when you see the, I'm trying to see where it is. The banners, it's coming down now. Cowboys are out of there. All right, that's so in Oxnard, that's gone. Now we're going back to Dallas after this game, to Frisco to be specific. So Let me just say this. Since we talk about, let's start off with two guys I want to talk about here. Kind of some of their quotes from yesterday trickle through, and then we're going to get into the final part of this thing, which is the complete breakdown of what we're going to see for tomorrow's preview for this game against Seattle. So stay tuned. Now, Dak Prescott, first and foremost, guys. A lot of people are jumping on him. Let's be real. A lot of people, we see it in the comments here, in the comment sections. I post these videos with their shorts or whatever. You look at them, you're going to see a lot of Dak Prescott hate. A lot of hate, whether it's other teams. Mainly it's our own team fans. Can you believe that? But when you look at these, the videos, people highlight the interceptions he had. And I said this yesterday. I said, we know that a lot of these quarterbacks out there, Deshaun Watson had I think 10 interceptions, over the course of his of camp. You had other guys like Mahomes threw like 3 interceptions to one guy. I don't know. A lot of crazy stuff going on out there about a lot of quarterbacks just throwing crappy, having some crappy practices. It happens. It's training camp. When Dak does it, it's hate. It's, here it goes again. He had 1 year, he had bad interceptions last year, and he's the worst quarterback ever because these people already have pre-thought hate on Dak Prescott to find a reason to say, hey, see, that's the reason why he sucks. Not because, hey, maybe the scheme wasn't good. Maybe we got rid of Amari, had Noah Brown to help him out there. So anyways, look, we can keep going this wherever. You know what I think about this. But let's just look at what he did in this training camp practices. Like, how did Dak do? According to pretty much every journalist that was there. And it's hard to tell, guys. Again, let's be real. Like, these things that happen, it's kind of, some of these plays are called dead. And, so they're not touchdowns. And even though it looks in the video like it is, when you look at it in the padded practices. Now, we're not talking about no pads. Fully padded practices. On the team drills, which is the 11-on-11s.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott was unofficially he had 141 completions out of 216 passes. All right? He threw 7 interceptions. All right? This is including 7-on-7 and team drills, he threw 7 interceptions. 5 of those interceptions came in 2 practices when he was trying out new shit, it looked like.
Not a great day.
But the point is that, again, 5 of those 7 interceptions, 3 on one day, 2 on another, and the rest of the camp, it was only 2 more. By the way, we got Brandon James Shea one more time on it with another $2 holler. What did he say, baby? As Jason Renfro goes to 32 points.
Thank you so much, Brandon. He said, I will buy a Michael Parsons jersey.
Hell yeah, brother. Going to that star level, you might be able to win one. You get to choose, right? Micah, we got Micah in like 4 different styles. So check it out, man. It's
yes.
Micah.
Obviously,
we
Micah
love that
Parsons
Micah Parsons
right now
jersey.
is, I think you mentioned this a few weeks ago when you touched on like the number 1 selling jerseys or whatever. Isn't Micah beating out Dak right now?
I think
As
Micah
like
is.
jersey
I think
sales,
Micah's
like,
4th
not
right
much,
now.
yeah.
I think Micah's in 4th. I think Dak's next, and then CeeDee Lamb is. But that's top 10. We got 3 Cowboys.
Yeah. That's kind of what I meant.
Yeah. So back to Dak for a second, though. Let me just finish this. So in these practices.
Thank you again,
yes, thank you, Brandon. In these practices, guys, on the team drills and 7-on-7 drills, 141 catches for 261 attempts. That's 65% completion. Not bad when you just really in training camp. It's about trying new stuff. So interesting that he did very well there. And again, he had 7 interceptions, and that's in that same span. 7 interceptions. 5 of those 7 came on 2 separate practices, right? And all the rest of the practice, the other 10, 11 practices, all of that, he had 2 combined for all the rest. So that's crazy, right? Now, touchdowns, all right? Without tackling, it's kind of hard to count some of the touchdowns, but the ones that they definitely can say were touchdowns, at least 25. So he had 25 touchdowns, Dak Prescott, 7 interceptions, completion percentage of 65%. And again, it's just fucking training camp. It's practice. It doesn't really mean any of these numbers. It could have been worse. It could have been better. It doesn't matter. But this is pretty good, is what I'm trying to say. For a practice, for trying new stuff, squeezing the ball in and getting in tune with your guys, that's pretty good numbers if you're going to count numbers. If you're going to point to a video and say, look at Dak throwing that pick, then you got to look at all the numbers. And then if you do that, you say, okay, well, I guess Dak's not doing that bad. So either way, guys. And, by the way, did I mention that the offensive line's been the backups pretty much almost the entire time? And also, we're playing. How good is our defense again?
I've heard they're pretty good. I've heard they're pretty good.
Dak's been throwing against that defense Still, 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I'm just saying, look at the context. Pretty good. Pretty good for Dak. Now, Dak Prescott, he spoke yesterday, but we got a couple of quotes from today are relevant. And again, he first talked about the fact that this is the first time in 4 years that he took every single walkthrough and practice snap as planned with no injuries and no rehab concerns. Remember, he came back from the ankle, then had that shoulder situation. I mean, last year, the thumb happened in week 1, but my point is that he's never had any. This is the first time he has no injuries, knock on wood, throughout this entire Oxnard portion of training camp.
Yeah, from bumps and bruises to obviously missing game time. Dak has been very banged up the last few years, but like we said, he is feeling a lot better nowadays, saying, quote, "I was talking to my PT, personal trainer, Luke, the other day. There are moments of practice where I do this or do that, and I thank God, honestly, in that midst of my health and how I feel. It's been great. It's been 4 years, if not more, since I've been able to take every snap from the walkthroughs to the training camp to the practices. I'm just staying in the moment, and I'm thankful for that, and I'll continue to try to stay on this peak."
Again, it is a fact he's making there, a point he's bringing up that is true. It's accurate. So it's good to see Dak 100% ready to go. Now, he didn't just stop there. Yesterday, he also spoke about other things, but we missed a little one here, which is actually a big one, and it's going to be relevant to this game tomorrow, the tight end position, and how he feels about Jake Ferguson, number 87, who's currently our starting tight end. Baby, what did Dak have to say about old Jake Fergie over here?
He said, quote, "I think he's close to becoming a big-time guy. As far as a playmaker, he's there. Just the way that he stepped in and did what was asked of him last year, and just the limited amount of reps to the role that he's taking on becoming this big season, being the guy, being a big-time tight end, being where I need him to be, communicating his ass off, being on the same page, knowing what I expect of him, what the offense expects of him, being a great blocker, going back to his college days, something you knew that he would do, but really putting it all together. And then you see him make a great catch in the preseason game with the back shoulder catch. And I think that just shows you, hey, you throw it to this guy, he wants to make the play, and he expects to make the play.
He's going to go get it.
I think that's where he takes his next step from just a playmaker to becoming a big-time player in this league.
Well, I love the fact that we are definitely focusing on Ferguson in the tight end scheme. And the quick passes, the guy is definitely agile. He's a good receiver. He's a good blocker.
I think that even in this limited amount of time that we've seen stuff from him in this training camp, I mean, he obviously seems to be a little more with it than the other guys.
Good point, yeah.
Even though, obviously, Schoonmaker, I know there's maybe more to it with the whole injury or whatever, but still.
He's the most reliable so far of everyone. Hendershot drops too many passes. As John Stevens is still undrafted, of course, rookie. So, yeah, I feel that. So we're going to see a lot of this and see a lot of these guys playing in this preseason game tomorrow against Seattle. We're going to get back to this in a minute. One more side of the quotes, I guess we got to talk about. It's not Dak Prescott. It's our defensive coordinator, the great Dan Quinn, and he spoke about Damone Clark mainly. Damone Clark is a guy he spoke a lot about yesterday, and we didn't get this portion of things, but this is important because, again, number 33 will be front and center once again tomorrow. But you said about the starters, but him and Deron Bland are technically starters, and they're going to be playing again tomorrow some major minutes in the opening parts of the game, the first quarter and second quarter, against the Seattle Seahawks starters, which will be in there for that first quarter as well. So what did Dan Quinn say about Damone Clark?
He said, "I thought it's so damn important to him, and in this offseason, early. He's saying, oh, push me, more feedback. And when a player is in that space, to find the moments, I want to get better, you can just tell that he just loves it. I thought this trajectory would continue because seeing him, you saw that the speed, the length, but some hesitation, not from anything other than experience of seeing something to go. Now, without that hesitation, all that speed and ability is coming to life."
Last year he was not able to practice. Remember, he has had no training camp, and this is his first training camp, even though he's a second-year guy with that neck fusion thing. Now he's going without thinking. He's kind of in the flow, and he did play half the season last year and did a damn good job at doing that. So, Dan Quinn kept talking about that portion of things, the fact that he really proud of Damone Clark because of this is his first training camp and looking fantastic. Also spoke about number 35, the Marvin Overshown. So what else did Dan Quinn say, baby?
He said, in a lot of ways, I've been really proud of Damone Clark. He didn't have a training camp to go to last year, and to see the two of them together, I texted him last week that I felt their energy, I felt their speed on the field in that game, and I think that's another good thing. So he also added in there, they're not in the same class.
Well, yeah, he's talking about Overshown and Clark, linebackers, but are they, they were different years drafted. One was drafted in 2022, Clark, Overshown drafted 2023. Again,
yeah, and obviously, they have lots of ways to contribute to the team,
yes.
But they are different guys. Like I was saying, Quinn said they're not in the same class, but they're both learning some things in this camp together because of Damone not going through that, last year.
See? Yeah.
So he also added in there, those players in pads, that stuff's got to go. I've seen in the spring there's some hesitation where they're not sure. So when you see the speed come out now, as a coach, I know the hesitation is gone. And we'll see more of that as we're going.
Again, muscle memory, playing without thinking. This is the quickness we need on a defense. It's about playing with energy and that speed. And that's what Dan Quinn has him set up to do right now. So, I'm excited what this defense is going to bring this year.
It is exciting. That's the whole point. Dan Quinn is like a little kid at the playground, and he has all these cool toys to play with and put together. But, yeah, I have to admit, Overshown, really excited about him, expected great things from him. But until that preseason game last week, I guess I didn't really fully hit me the type of impact that he could have. He looked impactful.
Some people are saying that, maybe Overshown should be over Damone Clark. I disagree. I think Damone Clark is the kind of linebacker you're going to want us to have when we have two linebackers most of the time. I think Overshown will earn some more snaps when we get, he'll probably get some more snaps when we're in more a passing down situation where you may have seen maybe less Damone Clark and maybe more of a Jabril Cox situation. It sounds like Overshown's in front of him. This it sounds like to me. So even though Jabril Cox is having a better, training camp, it still sounds like Overshown's just by passing him and a lot of others here. So we'll have to see. Overshown's going to be a guy we're going to talk about tonight. Damone Clark too, but Damone Clark, we know he's kind of at the very least, he's the LV replacement. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, next year or whatever. But Overshown is the guy that I think we're seeing him, the explosion is what's kind of standing out, and that's why they're kind of different kind of players, different kind of linebackers, and also drafted in a different draft class, which again, kind of getting the same rookie treatment. This is their first training camp. Any quick thoughts on that, maybe in the chat before we get rolling into the breakdown of this preview for tomorrow's game against Seattle?
Yeah. So first of all, we have Fuego 2.0 in the house with so much love. And he said, and with Kellen, we play them Chargers soon, and we're bringing that heat.
I can't wait.
So exciting there. So Double R said, would have liked to see Zeke get a Super Bowl ring with the Cowboys.
Yeah, would have been nice.
That would have been nice for a lot of different reasons, but it just obviously...
Now we don't want to see him get a Super Bowl ring, ever. Sorry, not with New England. Not with New England. So, we can't have him getting 7 rings.
Let me see. Rolling back a little bit more here. El Fuego says, Zeke's going to meet up with Parsons' watch. It's personal now.
Good. I think Mike will win that.
Let me see. Cactus G said, if I'm not mistaken, Dak had a full injury-free preseason last year. He broke his finger in the first game, but that had nothing to do with coming into the season.
Didn't he have another issue, though, in that training camp where he missed a couple practices?
I
last year he missed a couple. Last year wasn't for the thumb. I know that. It was
kind of an ankle issue or some kind of a neck issue. Or so. Like, again, when I say issue, it makes it sound like it's so much worse. But
hit another comment or two.
Very, very limited.
Well, the thing is, he said he didn't miss any time. In the last 2 years, he's missed time because of some kind of injury or rest that they wanted to give him. I think that's what he was saying there.
Oh, so Haley94 said, I like Zeke's haircut, streamlined and aerodynamic. So yeah, he's ready to run at full speed, and he's not going to let.
By the way, he did look good today. I mean, for what it's worth in training camp, but we'll see. He looked good with us when he was in training camp.
So. No, not surprising. Usually, Zeke usually always looks at least fine during training camp. You know what I mean? It's not like he's ever really had like a real shitty camp. So, anyway, let me see. Just kind of rolling back here, guys. Actually, let me take a little commercial break here to remind everybody to hit like. If you haven't already, subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss a live stream, guys. We are live almost every single night here. And, of course, every game day reaction live streams, and we post videos and all sorts of other fun things here at MyCowboysFamily. So, let me see. Justin Quarles, the Q man.
Q.
Thank you. So, yeah, so shoulder, I believe he said. So, it was some kind of a shoulder issue for Dak. Yes.
Okay, so that's what I was double checking. I'm trying to see. I was trying to check myself here, see what I can find here. It says says it's September 8th of last year. I guess was that before he missed practice because of an ankle injury. That was September 8th. I'm trying to think. Was that before? I'm not sure. Either way, he was banged up with something. I guess anybody's gonna know it's gonna be Dak Prescott, right? I mean, he was there. He went through it. So, I think that shoulder, ankle, whatever it may have been, this is his first one. He doesn't have any missed time. Not that he was out or injured, he couldn't play if he had to, but missed time that he took some snaps off because of an injury or some kind of soreness. This year, he hasn't had any issue like that at all. Knock on wood, it stays that way.
So, let me see. Justin Crow said, I think that was the 2021 training camp.
For the shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. 2021 was the shoulder.
Now, Scorpio said, I want to play our starters for the first quarter. Keep them from getting rusty.
Well, I mean, who said that?
That was Scorpio.
Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, I would like that. We already talked about this. Dak's not playing. Micah's not playing. CeeDee's not playing. Cook's not playing. None of the stars on the team are playing. And forget about... do you want Dak... If we're not going to play... Again, the Cowboys are not going to play Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and, Terrence Steele. Do you want Dak Prescott behind those three backups? Yeah?
I mean, ideally, no.
Okay, I'm making sure.
We want to protect our quarterback. We do not want to have him.
So if you're going to be missing 3 of your 5 starters, do you want to have Dak Prescott taking snaps? The answer is hell no. No. And the other guys are too either banged up or risked to get injured to play even a couple of snaps. So, as we roll into this, and I'll break. We got a nice little discussion there. Now it's time to break this thing down. I want to know what you think about this. So please interrupt me. The chat has a great drop or something of knowledge. Interrupt me. Of course, you guys can interrupt. Maybe drop some love. We stop and we answer your question. But let's get into the things to watch for this upcoming game tomorrow in less than 20. We'll be right now finishing the stream probably right now. Tomorrow at this time. So remember, it's a late game tomorrow, guys. And we'll be live for this. Cameras on. And having some great play-by-play reaction watch party here for this Game 2 of preseason. So, I will start off with this. Most of our starters, not the stars, most of the starters are not playing. They're not going to see a snap. They're not suiting up. All right? And there's still a couple position battles that we have to keep an eye on, right? I already said the time. It's later on in the game. Listen, we heard about I talked about it yesterday. Will Greer, according to McCarthy, is supposed to get a lot more play tomorrow. I said he might play the whole game. It sounds like Cooper Rush is still starting, but it sounds like he's probably going to take one drive, and then the rest of the game is going to be Will Greer style.
Which makes sense because they obviously can't afford to have their backup get hurt either.
No, we can't. But
no, I'm just saying, he'll play, he'll get his whatever. But Will Greer,
I think this
and
about
the rest of those guys are probably the ones who need that extra play. Need the looks.
To me, this is about the fact that Will Greer is fighting to see if he's worth a spot. Or he's going to be a practice squad guy. That's why I'm kind of feeling with that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So, again, few starters should play in the first drive. Maybe on both, I'd say on offense and defense. Last week we saw Damone Clark and DaRon Bland. So these are starters. So we'll see these guys, a couple of guys starting out there, right? Very close to week 1 against the Giants, right around the corner. The defense, we know what we feel about the defense. We love Brandon Cooks on the offense, the addition of that, and the game, the game. I guess you could say the game calling from McCarthy. These are the things that we talked about all offseason. We got to be consistent in the preseason, and we got to avoid injuries in the preseason, and we got to catch on what we can see from these guys when they're playing their opponent, which, by the way, our opponent is the Seattle Seahawks. I know we got Eric Wallace, right, who's a Seattle fan. Maybe you can drop a little knowledge in there in what I'm saying. Maybe I don't want to be wrong about something, but listen, their defensive line is athletic. they are going to be, they're going to have their starters out there in the beginning of the game, guys. The challenge remains for the Cowboys group up front. The defensive line for the Seattle, so our offensive line is going to be facing some real athletic defensive linemen. Now these are all 5 will be backups probably out there, and it's not going to be much to, I guess you could say, it's going to be a scary situation for that offensive line and Cooper Rush in that first drive. So, the defensive line for them, their main guy is right now, as far as preseason is concerned, Boye Mafe. All right, he caused a lot of problems in the pass game against the Vikings last week. It's going to take a very strong, athletic offensive line here to keep Cooper Rush standing up and give him time to throw the ball down the field. Same thing. Cooper Rush gets one drive, but Will Greer's going to be dealing with this team, with this starting team. Probably, I'm talking about the starting team of the Seattle Seahawks defense. Probably the first quarter. They're outside of that first drive, so Will Greer's going to have to run for his life, I think, with these, with our backup offensive linemen versus their starting defensive line. And I'm just going to say this again: Boye Mafe, M-A-F-E is his last name. He's the guy you want to watch on the defensive line. Whoever he's going up against, if we stop him, keep an eye on whoever stopped him. That's a depth guy you might want to put a little asterisk next, right? So we'll see him, how he matches up against our Cowboys tomorrow. The athleticism on the defensive line, you look at the linebacker side of things, the second level, Devin Bush and Josh Radigan, they had they did badly containing the run against the Vikings. Now, last week, if you remember, we talked about Jacksonville's linebackers, and they were very good at stopping the run, especially the linebacker side of things. That's called stopping our running backs. And they did a good job stopping our running backs for the most part, other than Deuce Vaughn, but that was the third, fourth quarter. This time with the starters, Devin Bush, John Radigan, they struggled to stop the run against Minnesota. We should be seeing a lot of our running backs, when they get that ball in their hands, we should be seeing how they should have an advantage here, an opportunity to maybe show off a little bit. Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn, and Tyler Lipke. These guys should have opportunities against these linebackers, especially the starters. Let's just say that. So I'm just throwing that out there so we kind of get an idea of what we're seeing. They're not good. Both these linebackers, not only they didn't do good last week in stopping the run, they didn't do good last week in maintaining their zones when in coverage. So now you got these two linebackers running around, getting a little bit out of their zone. Will Grier or Cooper Rush, if they have the time, they should be able to pick apart, quick passing, whatever it may be, pick apart the zone coverage of the linebackers. So that's, again, if you get someone like Deuce Vaughn lined up against one of the linebackers, it should be good night. It should be good night. So, again, here we go. Mr. Jason Renfro has gifted the wonderful, the great Mark Hosepian. Aloha, by the way, if he's in the house.
Hello to you, Mark.
Congrats as well. He got that membership back in the Navy Blue crew as Jason Renfro gifting another one. Any comments there by Jason?
Always appreciate you, Jason, and always go Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. I'm marking you down right now, brother.
We're ready to keep it rolling as far as that side of things. Real quick, let me kind of roll back and touch on a few comments. And like we said, Fuego, have a great night. Take it easy.
Peace.
Double R said, I just hope, come the end of the season, that the Cowboys are still healthy. Because my opinion is the only thing that can stop them from that 6th ring is this season.
Well, it's ourselves. That's what this season. The only thing that can stop us is ourselves, or I guess you can say also injuries, which is not really, you can't really help that. But injuries would be another thing that would slow a team down, right? So the depth is pretty good at most parts on this team. Is it enough to kind of roll with for a whole season? Probably not. But you can get through a couple games with some injuries. We can still get some wins and learn to win with some adversity, which again is important when you get to the playoffs. I think things will get tougher there. So. Yeah. Much love, Jason Renfro, by the way. Appreciate the man. Jason Renfro right now, 2nd place on the overall board, 3rd place on the Cash App board, 2nd place by 1 right now, 8-7. Skeptical has 8 gifted memberships. Jason has 7. He's trying to go for that 3-peat, the way that Skeptical went for 3 months. He's trying to go for 3 weeks, Jason Renfro. We'll see what happens. He got 32 points on the Stream Boss. Much love, much love. Now, when it comes to the linebackers, that's where we can take advantage. And I'm just going to finish this up as far as their guys and what we're going to see from the Seattle Seahawks. When you watch if you watch the Vikings game last week in Seattle, I watched it on we have like the quick clips or whatever. They just, it was really, it's going to be easy. It should be easier to run against these guys. So we should see a little bit more of the running game out there, and specifically the second level. Second level is where we're going to see, I think, guys like Deuce Vaughn, Kavontae Turpin, John Stevens Jr., number 49. These guys are going to be active in this area against defense, and I think there's going to be that 30% West Coast offense. The quick passes is going to happen in there. So if the offensive line struggles, quick pass Turpin, quick pass Deuce, quick pass John Stevens Jr. Look for that tomorrow if this offensive line cannot hold back the pass rush. So now when you look at the offense for Seattle, listen, a lot of guys got healthy. A lot of guys got a lot of play time last week. And when you look at the guys that kind of stood out for them last week, third-year offensive lineman Stone Forsythe. He played 45 snaps last week at left tackle. He did great in the pass protection side of things and did very well as well in the running game. So you want to test for our defensive line or our defensive front, watch Stone Forsythe on the back of his jersey. You watch him, whoever's up against him, if Sam Williams is against him, let's see Sam Williams can do something there. If he does, that means that he's handling the starting type of competition, not backup stuff like some people may say. So anyway, look, this guy, he's 6'9". Yeah, 6'9", 312 pounds. So kind of thinner, but very tall, and he has a killer punch power that again, you take a hit or two, to get used to these kind of hits. So we gotta see how our defensive line, and I'm talking about, some of the rotational starters, you can say should be on that field. We're gonna see how they handle the 6'9", 312 pounds, offensive tackle. So look for guys like Sam Williams, 54, Isaiah Land, 53, Ben Baganu. I think he's like 90. Was he 91? 93. No, 93 is Fahoko. But other guys out there as well. I think maybe Ben Baganu is 94. That's what it is. But there's gonna be all these guys out there going up against this Forsythe. Watch his power and his finesse, combination of power, finesse, and agility. He's a starter type guy. We're going to get a good. If he plays a lot, we're going to get some top, some top talent, some top competition for our depth guys, and I like to see that there. That's all I'm saying there. So I think also, guys, we're thinking about who's the quarterback. We know the quarterback is going to be mainly Will Grier for us, but for them, right now it's not even determined. Geno Smith is going to, and the most of the first team offense, if they're going to get any playing time at all. The projection is that they're not much starters are going to be on there on offense at least. But either way, backup Drew Lock is going to take the majority of the snaps like the way we know Will Grier is. It's going to be Drew Lock taking the snaps tomorrow. Probably going to the fourth quarter where Holton Allers is going to be their third stringer, finishing off the game. So Drew Lock and Allers, they will present a challenge to the Cowboy defensive backups. Because they have the ability to get around, move out the pocket, scramble. They have athleticism, the ability to extend the play outside of the pocket. So I would say keep an eye on those guys. I think that the quarterback. The good thing is the quarterback is going to strain and stress the defense, even if it's our backups and our third stringers. We want to get some good competition out there. They do have good competition with their quarterback. That will be kind of guys that can extend plays and run out of the pocket. This does look good. I like this. You know who's going to help, baby? The guy you just spoke about, Damone Clark and DeMarvion Overshown. They're gonna have to stay, in tune and watching the quarterback the whole entire game. You got to watch these guys because they will be athletic and get out the pocket. So again, they're gonna have to limit the runs. They're gonna have to watch some, some of the coverage stuff, but they got to watch the quarterbacks too. I think these are hard hitters here. Damone Clark and Overshown are hard hitters. So it should be fun watching them work out there. And they're kind of, I would say, more of the starting rotation type guys, especially Damone Clark. So special teams, I guess we'll end there when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks. Very good on special teams. You'd like that. They had a muff punt recovery on special teams last week. it would have been a walk-in touchdown if it was not ruled dead. The intensity, speed of the kickoff unit are things that are obvious when you see, the special teams of Seattle. So I think also very quick to the ball, flying to the ball, getting, I don't know. I don't think anybody ever got past the 20-yard line last week, for Minnesota on kickoffs. So when I'm returning it out. And expect first-round pick. I think that Choctaw Montana talked about him yesterday, wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, to get an opportunity in the punt game to get some returns. Also, cornerback Trey Brown, he had a good kick return in the opening game. So keep a eye on these guys when it comes to special teams. That's the breakdown I have for Seattle. All right? Now, for our Cowboys, what do we want to look for? This is what matters. First of all, anybody have any thoughts about what I said?
Let me see. Thomas Garrett said, I think Geno is out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's playing. It's going to be Drew Lock most of the game, and then Allers as the but again, these are two athletic quarterbacks. Good. It's going to test the defense.
Let me see here. Double R said, in my opinion, Cowboys should go 5-0 to the bye week. So, hey, from your lips to the Cowboys' ears.
Some tough games, and I would love that.
So, rolling back here, Scorpio said, we've lost more games week 1 than we've won. We need to have our starters ready.
No, preach to the choir, but the Cowboys are not going to put any starters in, especially on a broken offensive line right now. They got to keep, Zach Martin is not ready to go in there and play. Tyron Smith, they don't want to risk, of course, and Terrence Steele definitely not going to risk. So you're not going to put Dak Prescott back there, guys. Whether we agree or disagree, and I'd like to see the starters get a couple, a little warm up. We're not going to get that, not this week, not next week. It's going to be week 1. It's going to be the first time they get out there on the field. As far as the team, healthy, knock on wood, and going across there. But again, all preseason, all training camp, they've been going against the best defense in the league right now, in my opinion, our own defense, and that is a good test, maybe even better than any game time test that you're seeing out. You'd see them being forced to play in there with a broken offensive line, and I don't want Dak out there for that.
So, let me see here. No, just trying to make sure I'm hitting up on one of the relevant kind of points here. Thomas Gary said, well, Witherspoon is on the PUP list.
Witherspoon, okay. Mm-hmm. That's on their side, yeah.
So, but besides that, baby.
All right, let's get rolling then. The new offensive scheme. What do we want to look for tomorrow? So when I'm talking about this, tomorrow when we're sitting in front of the TV, this is what you can kind of look at and say, okay, that's a good thing.
These are specific things we're looking for.
Yes, for our Cowboys to do play. I'm going to go up a position, and some of these will be quicker, some of these will be longer. So hang in there. The new offense with Mike McCarthy, all right? It went well, I think, the first week. I already talked about this, but I want to keep an eye on how this goes. We go a lot of under center again. How we're going to start? We're going to do a lot of running back, tight end kind of looks here in the beginning against their starters. So, it's hard to get a feel how this offense is going to run without Dak Prescott and the starters out there. So we're not going to see that tomorrow. Although the offense, you saw some skeletal stuff, some vanilla stuff, but also a lot of the skeleton of this Texas Coast offense. And I personally like the under center snaps, the play action stuff, and of course I'm really a big fan of the quick huddle, the no huddle stuff. You've seen some of these plays back to back and just boom right out there.
Yeah, we
I love
really
it.
only saw it as far as continuously, once or twice in the preseason game. But I remember once you pointed it out specifically. You're like, man, they did like 10 plays or something in a row, 12 plays or something in a row where it was just like bam.
Well, it was an off and on. It was like 2 plays in a row. It wasn't 10. It was but it was a single drive, and we had the ball the entire drive. So if we have the entire ball the entire drive, and we have 12 plays, that's a good. Keep doing that. That works. So the point is, the Cowboys would not go a full 2-minute drill or a full no huddle drive. It was 2 plays back to back, no huddling, and then they go back to the huddle. And then you had another 2 plays back to back. They go back to the huddle, do another 2 plays normal. I'm just saying this was an interesting little look of what we've seen with McCarthy's new kind of scheme style, and I think that's something that under center motion. We need more motion, but he did a lot of under center stuff, a lot of play action, not as much RPO shotgun crap. I like that going forward. Now, what about the quarterback situation, guys? There's really no competition right now. It seems like for a backup quarterback, Cooper Rush. He's the number 2. He's completed 10.
Greer has not progressed
not
enough to take it over.
So Cooper Rush last week completed 10 out of 12 passes, short passes, looking comfortable in the West Coast offense. The Cowboy staff didn't need to see any more. They basically sat him after the first quarter, and Will Grier had a rougher outing. So this week they want to see a lot more Will Grier taking more meaningful snaps at the point, right now in preseason, since he has to put together a better showing, like you said, baby, on the field this week against Seattle starters. So we're going to see, maybe Cooper Rush once, maybe, and the rest of the time we're going to see Will Grier, and guess what? More Will Grier, as you see in our cover, in our thumbnail, number 15, a guy to watch tomorrow. In the game at the quarterback position. Jason Renfro dropping that $1.60. Holla in the house. Edging closer and closer. Always edging closer and closer to that top spot. I think he's like, I'm going to guess, like 38 back on the first place spot right now. About 38. I don't know. Something like that. I think, Jason. 37, 38, 39. In that range. Much love, Jason. Appreciate you.
Thank you again, Jason. Appreciate you.
Yo, Cowboys. Now, running backs. Let's get right to that, right? Running backs, what are we going to do here? What's the Cowboys going to do? Look, it was the one. Who was our running back that showed out last week? It was Deuce Vaughn.
Of course. He
showed out last week. And Malik Davis didn't do anything. Rico Dowdle did nice plays except for the fumble. So we're seeing, the guy only got, and Tyler Lipke didn't do anything. So to me, we're seeing the beginning of Deuce Vaughn here. Now, we're going to see a lot more Deuce Vaughn. No Ronald Jones with his groin. So right now, Deuce Vaughn, the leading rusher for the Cowboys last week in preseason, 50 yards and a touchdown. He was only on the field for 28% of the snaps, which is nothing. He still did a lot. Very exciting debut. Everyone was buzzing, talking about him. So I'm looking at Malik Davis and Rico Dowdle. We got to see who's going to win that. I'm calling him the backup. Because Deuce Vaughn is not the backup. Deuce Vaughn is a starter in a sense, where he's going to be utilized in certain down and distance situational football. I'm looking at Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis as if Tony Pollard goes down, knock on wood, nothing happens. If he goes down, which is the better guy to carry the team forward? Rico Dowdle to get most of those snaps, or Malik Davis to get most of those snaps? And that's what we need to still figure out. Hunter Lipke, he did flash on about one play. He's a sleeper in this situation at the running back position. But Hunter Lipke, if he can block and show some, again, he's done good at blocking, but he didn't really, we got to see him catching and doing the short yardage stuff. He can make a name for himself on this thing. Outside chance though, he has to have a good game. So we'll have to see that's number 43, by the way, in Tyler Lipke. So keep an eye on those guys at running back. But yeah, to me, the backup running back spot is the position we're looking at. We talk about the third string quarterback. We look at the backup running back spot. Deuce Vaughn, to me, specialized player, not necessarily the guy who has to take full snaps if something happens to Tony Pollard. So Rico Dowdle's got to take care of his fumbling. Malik Davis has to show something more, right? I always like Malik Davis more. Rico Dowdle, to me, is, the hips stuff makes me worried, and the fumbling makes me worried, but he's definitely more explosive. What do you think about those two guys for that backup running back position?
I mean, I have to admit, I said it before, I was a slightly early doubter of Vaughn just in general, just saying, can he physically hang here in the NFL? Cutting up Comedy King Red.
In the house, part of the family.
Thank you for summing it up.
Yes, appreciate you. Welcome to the family.
Kind of rolling back. Basically, I had my doubts and my question
marks about
Deuce, but no, I'm just saying. But honestly, about our backup running back position in general, none of these guys were really doing anything or standing out, and it feels good just to see a few of these guys kind of stepping it up and then showing off a little bit. It definitely makes me more confident. Again, every time we see them, they keep looking just as good as they did before, if not a little better, as they kind of fit their way onto the scheme. You can definitely see them getting a little bit more comfortable, even if it's just practice stuff or little stuff like that. So, Jason Renfro, much love with $1. Holler, go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Much love, Jason Renfro.
And for me, the bigger difference maker.
34 points in the stream boss now. Go
ahead. We've only really ever seen these guys with backup O-lines. So, obviously in the game, it's not like they're going to be pulling their weight as starters or anything. But the few times we will see them, they're going to be behind a much better offensive line, which I think fixes about 90% of some
in the real games.
Yeah, that's what I just said. The few snaps that they're going to be taking in a real game scenario as backup running backs.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing it behind a very solid offensive line. So that, to me, takes care of 90% of some of the concerns I might have about some of the things
offensive line. But we can't, again, unable to show it the coaches love Dowdle, so if it's up to them, it's going to be Rico Dowdle. Malik Davis might be cut and go back in the practice squad, possibly. So, and I don't know if someone might pick him up.
I mean, I hate to be that person, but it's not like they didn't give Davis a shot. He was I wouldn't say the early favorite, but he was getting... Now. Yeah, but he was the guy getting all the snaps when Dowdle was unable to. So
last year, yes.
And I'm just saying, like, he kind of had his chance. Even now in this year's camp, they favored Dowdle, but it's not like Davis, again, didn't have an opportunity to, make a little something for himself. He just kind of stayed where he was at.
He's going to have his chance now. He's going to have his chance tomorrow.
Very true.
And again, to me last week, he was a starter. And then Dowdle came in later when the backups came in. I want to see, Dowdle against the starters against Seattle.
True.
And then let's see, Malik Davis kind of come in there and get his chance afterwards. I also think I'm hearing this as well, that Deuce Vaughn is going to be possibly the starter for this game. So they're going to have if they do that, that'll be him going against first team Seattle Seahawks players. And that defensive line is really good against our backups.
I wonder if
the linebackers can be attacked by Deuce Vaughn.
Well, I was just about to say, I wonder if maybe that's part of the motivating factor. Like, hey, let's see
I think he earned those spots,
I know,
too.
I'm not saying he didn't earn. I'm just saying, like, hey, let's see Vaughn pinball against the starting defense and see how that looks like.
Well, yeah,
that's
maybe.
All.
I mean, he's played well against our starting defense. They've had trouble getting him. So, I'm just saying, I think that Deuce Vaughn, they're trying to see how much of a heavier load he can handle. Remember, guys, if they want him to be, maybe he has to be the number 2, or maybe they want to see if they can handle a lot more, that's what they're going to do now. I think if they start him tomorrow, look for that. So, again, of course, number 34, Malik Davis, number 23, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn, number 42, along with Lipke, 43. All these 4 players, you got to watch them at running back. They're fighting it out for a spot or 2 on that running back spot, and that running back list. Wide receivers. To me, the most, because the depth is really good here. Jalen Tolbert is a guy, who's definitely doing better after this game. He did great. He got a touchdown. He's doing great in practice, making that great catch. So I'm watching him, of course, number 18. Forget about our starting 3. They're not going to be involved. They're resting. They're out for this game. Gallup, Cooks, and CeeDee Lamb. So they're just going to chill on the sidelines. But I'm watching, Jalen Tolbert solidify himself, I think, as that 4th receiver tomorrow night. And you got to watch someone who's slipping down. A fan favorite for some reason, number 81, Simi Fehoko. So Fehoko, I will say this. He had a decent game, but to me he didn't show enough. I'm going to watch him, see if he's even going to be worth staying on this, the 4, 5, 6 spot. I don't see him hanging on. He's got other guys going to be pushing for him. Simi Fehoko, guys, had a rough training camp, dropped some easy passes. He's going to need a big spark tomorrow to make an impact, I think, on his chance to stay on this team. But Tolbert definitely has jumped him. Jalen Brooks, the rookie 7th rounder this year from South Carolina, has looked fantastic. Didn't do as much in the game, but he's still looking great in practice. Simi not looking, he's all right. He's having a couple of nights, a little bit. I mean, I could go out there and look all right probably once or twice. Fehoko's dropped too many passes. He has, again, he can't stand out. He's not really playing when the lights come on. Listen, we're gonna have to see him do something to really stay in this run here for these top 3 open spots on I would say 3, because we know the top 3 started. If we take 6 guys, there's 3 open spots. I think you got Tolbert, Turpin, and Brooks in front of him, in front of Simi Fehoko. So I'm not gonna put too much on Fehoko. He's got to show me something. Don't forget Dennis Houston, who actually started last year, ended up on the practice squad. I think he'll be back in the practice squad. Dennis Houston, but he's looking good out there. He caught 3 passes, 33 yards last week, back-to-back first downs on a big one on a 3rd down. Kavontae Turpin, I want to see him also out there, getting a chance with maybe with as many starters as possible. In my hopes, seeing Turpin get a chance to be part of the offense, and he's not going to be returning punts or kickoffs tomorrow, so you'll see Turpin, number 9, getting a lot more offensive snaps. He caught 1 pass. He did drop one and fumble a punt, so we got to see a better outing by Kavontae Turpin. So, and then, I would say the only guy that probably didn't do that great in the actual game that could have done better, needs to have another good game this week, is number 83, Jalen Brooks, like I said, the rookie 7th round pick. He caught only 1 pass he caught out of 5 targets, 5 chances. So he stood out in practices. Can't have him beat John Vea Johnson. and then disappear when the lights come on. So we got to see Jalen Brooks kind of do better in this game, when the lights come on. So as far as the receivers, baby, that's what I don't know what you think about the receivers. Any kind of thoughts you want to throw in there as far as the receivers you got to see tomorrow, battle it out for maybe that 4, 5, and 6
I mean, that
position?
one to me is a little bit more straightforward, and I admit I have been a hating fan, I guess, towards Simi Fehoko. And I have to be honest, that hate will probably continue as far as my haterade, just because I don't think that this is where somehow Simi's going to wake up and show the world that he should be on the 53 or something. Like, I'm just saying, I am more than ready to move on from the Simi Fehoko experiment.
Anybody else, though? Like
So
Turpin,
outside of that,
Tolbert,
outside
Brooks?
of that, just nice to see guys like Tolbert continue to develop, but just saying, like, I think that pretty much after that week 1 game, the Cowboys more or less locked it down for now. It's just a matter of cleaning shit up. You get what I'm trying to say? So, but that's, of course, just my opinion. Let me go ahead and hit up the chat real quick. So, Retro Scotty, take it easy. Have a great one. Cactus G said tight end is still up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where we're going to now, actually. So I guess I'll just slide right into that.
Cam said he's not a fan of Turpin. He doesn't like him.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. He's a Pro Bowl returner. The Cowboys made that clear yesterday with Fossil. I don't think the Cowboys have a fear of cutting him right now. I don't think but he can't fumble anymore. That's for damn sure. So, again, as I'm kind of going into this, I'll throw up the offensive line stuff in a minute, but let me talk about tight ends real quick. So, Jake Ferguson, guys, you heard Dak talk about him, loving the progressions that Jake Ferguson has made. He's the only projected starter, the only guy who's actually the starter last week to see the field. So out of all our players, they didn't count Damone Clark or Deron Bland as starters. But on offense, definitely in addition to the whole team, Ferguson was the only projected starter. But I still count Damone Clark on defense and Deron Bland. I count both those guys, Bland as well as our starting nickel cornerback. But Jake Ferguson is an actual he's our number 1 tight end, and he started last week. He had 10 snaps, and he did great. I mean, he did some great stuff out there, just playing a limited role with all backups against the starters, by the way, of Jacksonville. And then we got to look at Luke Schoonmaker. All right, he's a guy.
Janitor.
He's a guy that we've always talked about. We got to see something from this guy. Now, he did great last week blocking. I know it's not what anyone wants to see with a second-round pick, but we want an offensive lineman, so he's blocking. So I guess he's doing more blocking around. He's like an offensive lineman, I guess, an offensive tackle. I don't know. But he did see some, he did play well, but he was limited overall. He only had 1 catch as far as receiving, but he had a lot of blocking out there. And Hendershot never even had a target. So even though the Cowboys are trying to, target running backs and tight ends at the beginning of the game, the first quarter, they barely saw, other than Ferguson, these guys didn't do anything as far as the starting crew of guys, right? The top 3 tight ends. But that's another guy here we got to watch is number 49, John Stevens Jr. John Stevens carried the tight end group in the second half of that day of that game last week. Strong start to camp. They wanted to see him. They wanted to purposely feed the ball to the former wide receiver, now turned tight end. They wanted to purposely give him the ball give him a lot of chances to see if he can handle it, and he did. And he got a touchdown last week. So it carried over into live action. He did great. Caught 5 of his 7 targets. Of course, one of those was a touchdown, right? The early leader, I would say right now, is the undrafted free agent, the undrafted player breakthrough that makes us 53. I think Stevens is going to possibly beat out someone like a Peyton Hendershot. We'll have to wait and see. So again, keep this in mind about Stevens, number 49, a guy I want you all to watch tomorrow with us. John Stevens Jr., converted wide receiver, getting a lot of looks to challenge the 53-man roster, spent 3 years at TCU, and then he transferred to Louisiana. He played in 27 games in those 2 years. He caught 7 touchdowns. Again, he's 6'6", 245 pounds, a former receiver, but he's 6'6", 245. That's a tight end, kind of stature right there. And he's playing tight end. It's perfect for him, guys. He's big. He's a big target. With his receiving abilities, he's looking good out there. I would say he's the poor man's. Who is that guy from Georgia that we didn't draft, and I thought we should have drafted him? He's looking great in Pittsburgh. I've been talking about him. I forgot his name now. He had those medical issues.
Isn't Isn't he related to... No, not TJ Watt.
No, he was having those. He had the medicals, and then we didn't draft him. I think they got him in the third round. Pittsburgh did. I forgot his name. I'm sure somebody in the chat will say it. From Georgia. Anyways, the point is he kind of is the poor man version of this. He's a big player. This guy here. He's a receiver though. He has the receiving agility. I guess you could say he's better at actually catching the ball than the player I'm referring to. But this guy I'm referring to is a much better blocker than John Stevens. So we got to give a little bit, take a little bit. For our offense, it seems like maybe Stevens fits great. 6'6", 245 pounds. Again, big target and a good target as far as a receiver because of his receiving background. I'm sorry. So then his biggest issue for John Stevens is blocking. Blocking is his biggest issue. So even though he's still I've seen him block out there. He looked pretty good. But yeah, out of all his weaknesses, that's his biggest weakness right now. So the next step is proving. Lunda Wells is going to work. That's the one thing Lunda Wells loves to do is block, and teach these guys, develop these guys, these tight ends to block. I'm not worried about that side of things. He's decent now. That's his weakest spot of his game. I think he'll get better at that under Lunda Wells. So now you got to develop into this reliable blocker, someone who can continue to contribute on special teams. And to me, guys, I'm looking forward to number 49 playing very well tomorrow in the game.
Yeah, he's been kind of
another
one of those little super pleasant surprises throughout this camp. There's always one or two, right? But talk about a name and a guy who came out of nowhere in a lot of ways to kind of say,
sure.
Hey, I am here. I will contribute. I am part of this team. So
again, 6'6", 249.
Way to go, McClay.
6'6", 245, and another diamond in the rough possibly. But I think that we got to see him develop more, right? He looked good as a tight end, not as a receiver now. He looks good as a tight end because he looks a lot quicker than those guys. Because as a receiver, he probably looks a lot slower. But as a tight end, he looks quicker than most tight ends out there. So just got to get the blocking up a little bit more, and I think the guy will push guys like Peyton Hendershot. So
let me see. Cam DCFL said Stevens is okay, but he can't move any quicker.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly, I kind of agree. But he's not a receiver. I'm cool with this guy. I think he said something about Pickens over there, didn't he? That's something.
Kelly Lincoln said Pickens.
Yeah, no, that's not who I'm talking about from Pittsburgh.
Okay,
it's a guy from Georgia. He's a tight end, and he's the sixth. He's been called the sixth offensive. I can't believe I forgot his name now. God damn, I forgot. But either way. That's the guy they got in Pittsburgh. I think this guy, for some reason, it kind of his height and his height reminds me of. Let me just break that comparison because the guy who I'm talking about is huge. He's like 280, so he ain't like 245, but I think he's 6'8". The guy I'm talking about from Georgia.
That's crazy. So, Frame Ripper said he said there was going to be a game today. I was all waiting. So, technically, it is today.
Yeah,
because at least here,
not for
on
him.
Our side, it is officially Saturday.
For him, it's still 11
yes, for you,
change.
It's
yeah,
still technically
yesterday. No, today as in Saturday. But yes, Saturday at 10 o'clock, late tonight or late tomorrow night, I guess. And you hear somebody who's over hearing it saying, "Oh yeah, late tonight," as in Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Set your times accordingly. So. Anyways, let me see. Any other?
Oh, okay. No, I thought you wanted me to.
No, I want to know if there's an answer for that question. I can't believe I can't remember his damn name.
I'm gonna go back. Yeah, I didn't see anybody answer it. So, sorry about that. And yes, Double R, take it easy. Have a great night to everybody here chilling, hanging with us. I'm gonna do one more reminder here. Thank you for chilling, hanging with us. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys remember, you can follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. Hop into our Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And thank you very much to our current sponsor of the week and the Cash App King. We all know why he's here.
SnugX.
It's SnugX.
Yes,
Thank you, of course. Appreciate you.
He's also the leader. He's also the leader right now, trying to go back to back on both those boards. Much love, the Skeptical Fan. He's in the lead on the back to back right now from Jason Renfro on the gifted memberships. Darnell Washington is the guy I was talking about, guys. Darnell Washington from Georgia. So, but again, the comparison is probably not great. So I'll just leave that there. Now,
okay.
I was going to say that, speaking of blocking, offensive line is kind of a major issue for us, and our depth is a major, that's a major question mark. So we got to see some clarity about the depth on our offensive line. Now, they had a really bad time against the starters of Jacksonville. They're gonna have their hands full with the starters of Seattle, like I said, guys. But to To me, this is the best. These guys are going to have to make their best run at making this roster here when it comes to the offensive line. And the offensive line against our backups versus their starters, even more difficult for them. So, it's going to really depend on coordination and consistency. We got to see that from these offensive linemen playing tomorrow. And I'll talk about a couple of them in a minute. But again, this new Texas Coast offense is the whole reason of having this, guys, is to make sure that the breakdowns on the offensive line don't hinder the plays as much as they would if you needed more time for them to develop. So the whole thing is to get it out fast. Because we have offensive line depth issues, if there's any injuries in our starters, we are fucked. But that's why you have the quick passing of this offense. So I'll talk about it a little bit more here. First, I heard a little drop in the bucket over there. Brandon James Shea here.
That's right. He said, "Go Cowboys," with $1.70 holler drop there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you.
Always,
of course, as
Brandon.
always.
Go Cowboys. Jason, 32 points. Up on that stream, boss. Again, appreciate everybody in the house. Send that thumbs up and
Harold Jones
dropping the knowledge in here.
That was actually really funny. He said, "Blocking in the NFL is about to get the way of the tackler." So, no, that was all. That's all. I just, like I said, it's
cool.
just a funny little
Yeah. No, I was going to say that offensive line, where we have a lot of blocking needs here as far as depth is concerned. We got Zach Martin back. All right. So we got at least that kind of a little breath of fresh air there, a little relief there. But we need to find backups at 3 different positions right now. You could say center, a guard, and a tackle. All right. So this is still out in the open for me. I don't think that we have found anybody yet to be the backup. I'll say this, guys. The veteran possible swing tackle was Chuma Edoga. Should be out a little longer, but again, he's out of the running right now as we wait for his leg injury to kind of probably next week, late next week, he might be able to get back on that field. The guy I got to look at now, guys, is number 76, Awesome Richards, our 5th round pick from 2023. So he started as a left tackle in college in North Carolina. Been playing guard there a little bit as well. He's been playing guard with us, but he played half the game at guard and half the game at tackle. Some of those against starters. So Awesome Richards only allowed 2 pressures. I am, out of all the offensive linemen, ignore number 75 on the thumbnail. I'm watching 76. I want to see him do well once again. Awesome Richards. If he can do awesome, and he's a guy you could look at, almost pencil in there as a versatile guard tackle player on the offensive line that provides a little bit of depth in there. So I think Matt Waletzko as a tackle specifically, the right tackle, he's a guy I got to watch, number 7. Now, he got run over by Micah Parsons, but that is Micah Parsons. So I think Waletzko's been doing pretty good. Overall, I think he's right there with Awesome Richards. Can these 2 guys be enough to get us through the guard tackle issues that may come upon us? So those are the 2 guys I would say right now lead the depth chart on the offensive line. Not saying much, though, about that. That's not really great. So we're going to see how they do against the starters of Seattle. Like I said, very athletic Seattle starters. We're going to see for a drive or 2. Mark McCarthy, he himself has said that Waletzko is better suited to play tackle over guard, which is what we've been saying here at MCF for a while. When it comes to the backup center, that's a fight now between, and no pun intended, Brock Hoffman, number 67, and Matt Farniok, number 68. So, again, Hoffman is going to play more at guard this game against Seattle. And Farniok's going to get more time at guard over the center spot. So we're going to see what happens, guys. And they're going to give a lot of these guys a lot of chances at guard and center to see who can, take that spot, win that role already. The backup center is a problem if something happens to Biotish. So knock on wood, nothing ever happens to him. Josh Ball, number 75, yeah. Josh Ball is getting first team reps where? At right guard for Zach Martin. So you're probably going to see Josh Ball at right guard tomorrow starting the game. He was drafted as a tackle, possibly a swing tackle. Now he looks like he's got no place to go. Moving to guard. I guess the only place you can go is defense. like Alarcon, like Isaac Alarcon, who's now on defensive line. So Josh Ball is going to probably stay at the guard position and try to push for a reserve role. I got to watch him too, because that's part of the offensive line. And the issues that have been going on there, the depth is hurt, it's deep. So the one matchup I do want to kind of focus on here as I finish with the offense is Awesome Richards. Awesome Richards, our rookie pick, he's going to be playing most of the time. the guy that I kind of talked about earlier, Boye Mafe. This guy is the guy we have to kind of watch the battle between, and he's going to be challenging Awesome Richards. That's going to really test him. And we're going to see Awesome Richards is going to be able to hold up, not just against the Jacksonville Jaguar starters, but the Seattle Seahawks starters and a different kind of defensive line. So it's going to be a good test for him. Again, he's trying to come in that spot that Chuma Edoga left open. And, this is a good challenge for him against the Seattle Seahawks. So, now, Boye Mafe, he's a second-round pick out of Minnesota College, and he was drafted last year. He had a huge preseason game against the Vikings last week. He's an athletic presence. He's disruptful as far as the pocket is concerned, passing plays, and blew up a lot of running plays in the backfield. So this is a great test for Awesome Richards. This guy, he's going to go up against Mafe, is a disruptor. He's a guy that's going to... So if we don't see much of Mafe, that means Awesome Richards is doing his job. Very important for the Cowboys. I know people are like, whatever. This is important for the depth of going forward. We got to find the guy who's going to be able to jump in there when Tyron Smith gets hurt. When it happens. You know what's happening. So, anyway, Mafe was credited with 2 tackles, but he had a bigger impact, kind of like a Mazi Smith impact, where he's taking up a couple blockers and other guys are making plays. That's what he was able to do for Seattle last week. So, again, guys, limited experience for Awesome Richards at left tackle. So he's going to have some growing pains against Mafe, in my opinion. But it's a great test. I like to see it. Or maybe he can say, listen, I'm very versatile. I'm very good. I can do guard and tackle, no problem. And if he can hold down Mafe from getting in there, that would be a really good, plus going forward for Awesome Richards. But regardless, guys, it's an opportunity for both these guys to get into the season. Really, it's more for Mafe to get, not Mafe, but Mafe's going to be, he's got a year ahead of him, right? He's been in the NFL for a year, so he's got the offseason training. He's got a year experience. So, obviously, he's the better player right now, but Awesome Richards can stamp his mark right here and maybe have a really good game. If he has a good game, I think that, we can start saying, okay, I feel more comfortable with Awesome Richards as our backup. And I haven't said that. I haven't said I feel comfortable about any backups. Let's Go was the leader for me. I think Awesome Richards, he has to me, he'll pass him up if he has a good game here. I'm looking really, really closely here to again, number 76 and how he plays against Mafe. So any thoughts on the offensive line? Because we're going to flip the defense. That's going to be quick, kicker, and we're done for the night, guys. So get your last thoughts in, your last drops in, your last comments in right now, baby.
Let me see here. Frame Ripper's dropping some comments here about the D-line, saying, I'm worried about the defensive edge depth past Micah. There's nothing after him. But we saw how the defense dropped in production when he slowed down.
Well, let's just go right into it then. I agree and disagree, because Micah Parsons, any player you take out of the game that's Micah Parsons,
you're going to feel it.
It's a huge drop. There's a huge drop. But I agree. We need these guys to step up even when he's not there sometimes. And he might not be there every single time. So that's my next point here, guys. We're going to the other side of the trenches, defensive line. This must be the strength of the team. And actually, what you just said, Frame Rippers, was that Voodoo? Frame Rippers? Mm-hmm. Is exactly what I was going to speak about today, guys. Our strength of our defense is that defensive line, right? But it didn't show up last year. Last week, the Cowboys failed to record a single sack against Jacksonville last week. We had 3 guys on him on one play, and he still got a fucking pass down the field. So we didn't get a sack. We didn't get much pressure on any of the quarterbacks all game long. So you can say, like Frame Ripper said, well, we don't have Micah Parsons in the game. We didn't have DeMarcus Lawrence in the game. And who else did we have? Who was the other guy? Dorrance Armstrong also not in the game. If you have them in the game, I'm going to tell you right now, all 3 of those guys make a huge difference. And, of course, even if Micah's not there or has to take a playoff or 2, it's a big upgrade just having DeMarcus Lawrence and Armstrong in the mix. So even without our top 3 guys there, it should have been better. So I agree with Frame Rippers. I don't think it's our weakness. Our weakness depth-wise is over defensive line is offensive line. That's without a question, without a doubt, Frame Rippers. So I'm not going to agree there. But to me, it's definitely close there when you get to the backups on our defensive front. So the Cowboys have to get better. Osa's have to get better. Neville Gallimore's got to get better. That's the crew there. That's got to get better for us to see these guys kind of get a little more trust and help. The backups, the rotation can go in there and do a good job for us.
Thank you
we
so
got
much,
dropped
Jason
there.
Renfro.
Jason Renfro dropping the 5 on it.
Ooh, appreciate you, of course, as always. And he said, MCF, I should be tied with a Skeptical Fan on gifts. I started the show at 5, did 3 tonight, which ties me at 8. So go Cowboys.
Oh, I think I only got 2 here tonight. I only have 2 showing up, my guy.
So I guess go ahead and check that behind the scenes super quick.
Let me see. I'm checking now. Yeah, I only got 2 showing up. I just checked it now. You can check it actually if you look at if you look at that, you can hit it and see it. You can go back and count. I only have 2 of them. I don't know if it happened again. I did it before. I can check that too. So give me a minute here. Hit up the chat, baby. While I...
Alright, you're good. Scorpio said, why only a top 5 defense? We're the number 1 in the NFL on paper.
Well, because the Niners and the Eagles, they have, the Bills, they all have some things that they could do better than us, right? Some people think the Niners have a better defense than us right now. I just think we have to show them that we got that defense. Once again, that field and show what we got. We can stop the run. We're the number 1. I'm gonna make a shirt. Stop the run. We're number 1. That happens. No one's gonna be better than us. I'm gonna be honest about that. That's what I feel on that.
No, I have to co-sign that statement. So,
stop the run. We're number 1. As simple as that. That's a great way of thinking. Oh, by the way, I'm checking it here. I only got two of the gifted memberships. So,
okay.
Yeah, he's 1 back still, Jason. At least on my side, that's what it's showing. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, brother. Appreciate your gifting memberships here. Appreciate your love and your support here. So, anyways, pass rush. I agree with you guys. Frame rippers, yes, got to get a better, a better pass rush for these pseudo starters, the rotational starters that we're going to be throwing in there some of these games. I will say one thing, Mr. Voodoo Alpha, one guy to watch, number 53, Isaiah Land. You want depth? He's going to play against some depth on the other team, but I think he's going to have some opportunities. He did great last week. The top pass rusher, Isaiah Land, undrafted rookie. Again, without question, he's on the practice squad, in my mind. This guy's making the practice squad. Can he push to get a 53? It's going to be tough. You get to push someone like Chauncey Golston off. You get to push, someone like maybe a Gallimore off. So keep that in mind as well. Again, I would love to hear from Voodoo when he answers. He kind of touches on these comments that I'm making. That's the pass rushing side of things, guys.
Yeah.
I'll end it with the pass rushing side of Mazi Smith. And, I'm talking about these drills. I'm gonna put up the drills that from Mazi and a couple of these other guys that that from the practice the other day. So, there he goes, Mr. Mark Hosepian here, and enters the room.
Mahalo to you, Mark.
The 5 on it.
I appreciate you, of course. And he said, Osa is the best of the group, and that's not saying much. Our lines will be our downfall. Parsons is the only D lineman with a no shit factor. We need Sam.
Sam is going to bring a little bit of that. I do think he needs to bring more of that. Also, he's not going to start at that. Dorrance Armstrong's a starter. You're going to have, Sam Williams going to come in the rotation. Fowler is going to be in the rotation. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah are going to be sometimes in that rotation. Sometimes Micah's going to drift around. So I hear you. Starter-wise, though, I have no issues with our edge rush attack. Sam Williams got to get better, but it's not just, it's got to be Sam Williams. Sam Williams got to get some opportunities out there, right? So Sam Williams, I think Dan Quinn's going to try to get him a lot more snaps than he had last year. He had minimal snaps and he was very effective last year, Sam Williams. So I think it's going to be similar this year. You got to ramp up his snaps, and you're going to see more production from Sam Williams. Especially, remember, guys, he's going up against guys that are going to be tired in the regular season, right? They're going to be tired after 2 quarters battling our defensive line. Then he comes in, and he's going to look a lot better because they're going to be a lot more tired. So watch for that, too, being not a starter, being in the rotation. Dorrance Armstrong, he had 9 sacks last year. DeMarcus Lawrence was effective, very effective Pro Bowler last year. And Micah Parsons makes the whole thing go. Yes, he has the it factor. Not many players, not many teams have multiple players on the defensive line that are it factors. You feel me? Like I look at the Rams, they got Aaron Donald, it factor, and then who else? No one else is scary. You go to almost every defense and see that. The Niners might have 2 guys that have that factor. The Eagles might have 2 guys that have that it factor. I still believe that we have a lot of smaller its, so to speak, and a big it, as in Micah Parsons. I mean, no one compares to Micah pretty much on any of those teams I mentioned. And I'm calling out the Bosa on the 49ers. I'm calling out whoever the Eagles have, their Fletcher Cox and crew. against Micah. Micah's the best out of all those guys. We get the biggest it factor. So, yeah. We have smaller other its. They have, let's say, 2 its on each, and we have a lot of little ones and a major one.
Yeah, the big it.
We got also the big 5 on it, once again, by Marco Seppi, and another $5 holler. Mahalo. And what did he say?
What's upsetting is a player so-called looks good, but has to unseat a Golston. Golston is a body at best. If Sam can't beat Armstrong, that's not good.
I don't think he can't beat him. I think the Cowboys have to. The Joneses paid him to stay here 2 years. He has value for Dan Quinn, so they're going to get the most out of him and the rotation. I think he's going to play a little bit less this year, but I think he'll still be effective by playing. I think he's effective playing less. So we'll see if that works in that favor, and we need a little bit more usage by Sam Williams, by Dan Quinn for Sam Williams. Mark, another 5, man. He's crawling. Maybe he's bouncing up this board quick. I'm going to have to make an adjustment here, I think. He's jumping right there behind the other star-level members there at the top of the board there, Snug, Jason, and Skeptical. What did Mark have to say on this $5 holler?
He said, we need something in between an oh shit factor and a body. No player scares opposing defenses. Armstrong disappeared in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did great in the beginning, and then everyone kind of slowed down a little bit. Did they figure us out? You know what they did, Mark? They were able to run the ball on us. When they were able to run the ball, they stymied our pass rush. That is why the Mazi Smith pick is huge. That's why Hankins coming back is huge. Bohana's playing better. Huge. 3 huge guys to clog up the inside there, the middle. I said this about it yesterday. Not worried about the pass rush as much with those guys. We got the pass rush on the outside. We could bring Micah in the middle if we wanted to and pass rush inside. It's about stopping the effing run. And if we stop the run, I guarantee you Dorrance Armstrong, Micah Parsons, everybody else gets more stats. Believe it or not. I also tell you Stephon Gilmore, Diggs, and Bland get more picks. It's coming. That's what I believe happens. I think it all works if we keep this kind of this overall view of this defense together. I think we dominate. We stop the run, we dominate. We are number 1 if we stop the run. That's my new mantra this year.
Jason said he dropped one at the beginning of the show, 2 more to send. Jason, like we said, at least on our side, I can only see the 2. So,
the beginning of the show, I didn't like before.
And at least at the beginning of the show,
And I'm checking the thing is I checked the names on the membership list, and I still see the same names. So the 2 new ones from tonight, and then there's no. And the next person is the one from yesterday. So it would have shown a 3rd name, and that's why I can check that. So I don't think it went through on your side, brother. But I did check it for you, and 100% check. I don't ever want to make a mistake. I triple checked it for you, brother, and that's the update there on that. Let me also update the board here because Mark is now in 3rd place. Man, he's moving up. He just jumped a little bit over droplets over Skeptical Fan, and he's right behind Jason Renfro now on the board, baby. So it's one of those. We got tomorrow, the game day, and we got of course Sunday wrap up to see who champions and takes over, maybe repeats on these boards. So anyways, I've spoken enough about this. I appreciate you guys dropping your thoughts. Keep them coming. And Mark, appreciate your discussion. It's always great to kind of go back and forth to kind of pick each other's brains on our team, on our weaknesses. That's what's going to be our downfall. It's not our strengths that's going to hurt us. Our strengths are going to be fine. Our strengths are going to help us. It's our weaknesses which are going to be the end of us if we don't are not aware of this. That's the one thing I'll say though. The offensive line, McCarthy's aware of our weaknesses on the offensive line. That's why we have that and the trying to fit the offensive scheme for the other players. I think the quick mindset is the whole purpose of this is protecting the quarterback and the offense because he knows we're gonna have a broken offensive line sometime in the year. So the quick passes alleviate that to some degree, and we talked about that earlier.
Cam, take it easy. Have a great night.
Much love, Cam.
Thanks for rolling through here.
Appreciate you. Everybody in here hitting that like, of course. Don't forget to hit that like before you leave. Sub it up. Of course, you guys are all subscribed to the channel, notification bell, so we're going live, dropping videos. Follow us on Twitter at MyCowboysFamily. You know. So, Mazi Smith, guys, watch for number 58 tomorrow. Without a question, he should be doing fantastic. And I'm excited to see how he plays against any team. I just want to see him getting that more work. He did great. I think he did a little better than people give him credit for last week. But I want to see more from Mazi. And I think the pass rush is something that's not going to come until maybe the middle of the year or something. So we kind of figured it would go that way. We'll see what happens. Again, a lot of people expect him to do it now. I do not. But I don't think we need him to do that right now. When he does that, if he's able to do that, we're going to be easily the number one defense in the NFL when he gets to that point, whether it's the middle of this year or next year, in my humble opinion. So, who is he going to be playing against, Mazi? This is the thing. Is he getting tested? Mazi is going to get tested. Let me just put Mazi up here because he is getting tested, guys. Mazi Smith is going up against, actually, I think his old teammate. There's Mazi, number 58. Second game in the preseason for the Cowboys here on Saturday night. He's going to directly line up against his former college teammate, Seattle center Olu Watimi. He's a starter. He was drafted in Michigan in the 5th round. It looks like he's going to be their eventual starter, or their current starter. But this is his teammate, so they went out and practiced, back in Michigan, right? So he will probably take the majority of these reps. If again, he did have an elbow injury that's kept him in limited practice this week, so he might not play as much, but he should play as much as possible to give him some snaps. And Mazi's going to be on the other side. Both guys basically being teammates now, going back at it again in a game-like situation in the NFL. Oluwatimi, he won the Remington Award for the nation's best center and the Outland Trophy for the nation's top interior offensive lineman last year. He enters Seattle with accolades and strength in the interior. So he's been drafted for a reason not high, but in the 5th round. He has a lot of potential. He's not their starter right now. He's going to get a lot of work in there, guys. So the strength was something Mazi Smith got used to when they battled one-on-one in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So the point I'm trying to make here is let me say his name right, Oluwatimi. His preseason debut last week, again, he's 6'3", 307 pounds. He saw a lot of success in pass protection. So that's going to keep Mazi Smith. That's his weakness, Mazi Smith, is pass protection. A good challenge for him to maybe work through that on a situation where he's going against a guy who's really good at it. Can the stuff he worked on with Micah Parsons this week, can that maybe help him a little bit with maybe some new moves to use that on his former roommate there from Michigan? We shall see. The problem with him, though, baby, is the run game, which is, of course, Mazi's strength. Oluwatimi cannot block on the running game very well. Mazi Smith's a dominator. We saw him dominate, taking double teams. So he's going to be, I think he'll have no problem. We're going to stop the run for Seattle. Should stop the run, at least when we get to their backups. Maybe not the starters, but with the backups. I know Mazi's going to definitely be keeping the interior locked down. So I'm excited to see how Mazi Smith plays tomorrow against, good future talent and a guy he knows well from Michigan. So we'll see what happens, guys. Look, Mazi Smith's strengths are best in the running game, like I just said. He has a wide frame, elite strength, and an opportunity to go against a familiar matchup here, a familiar opponent. So, again, as he's trying to get to NFL speed, I believe this is a great matchup for Mazi Smith. He's used to this guy. He knows his ins and outs. It's going to look good out there, I think. I think he'll look better, in this game than he did last game, and I think he'll be able to do more things for all these reasons I just mentioned. Experience, but a guy he knows a lot of already, for just some practice. So watch that matchup in the interior there over center by number 58. Now, linebackers, we'll get out of this. Maybe you talked about the linebackers I want to talk about, and actually Dan Quinn talked about these guys. Maybe the best, again, to me, maybe the Cowboys, I think the linebacking core played the best out of all the defensive players as a unit. Played the best against Jacksonville was the linebackers. And Devin Harper, number 50. Damone Clark, number 33. Rookie, DeMarvion Overshown, number 35. I will say the cohesiveness there just felt very natural. Agreed.
It flowed well. Like it just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like it clicked from the second they all came together, and it's just been going really well ever since.
The depth,
better than that.
Depth at linebacker. You didn't hear Jabril Cox there. That's the thing. He was quieter. He did have 2 tackles. He was a little bit involved there. But again, the overall 4 depth guys, pretty solid, I think, behind Micah and LVE. Really, Damone Clark to me is a starter. But by the way, Devin Harper, who I think is jumping guys like Malik Jefferson, who played very well as well. He got banged up though. But Harper had a pass breakup. He also had a fumble recovery. So Harper, number 50, just kind of getting a little bit better out there from last year as a rookie. But back to Damone Clark. We heard Dan Quinn speak about him, guys. Fifth round pick from LSU last year, fell because of that herniated disc that required spinal fusion surgery. He played 10 games for the Cowboys last year, pushed Anthony Barr to the off the team basically. Got a lot of work this training camp and is morphing into a very solid, I would say, rotational starter. I'd say he's a starter, but a contributor without question. The linebacking core, guys, initially starting this camp was thought to be like a weakness for us, right? But I do think that the way Clark has, the tremendous upside with Clark, the way he's been playing is fantastic. When you got him with LVE, that's a starter, so that's a strong group as it starts. You also got the emergence of Jabril Cox, who's played better than the last couple of training camps. An emergence of rookie DeMarvion Overshown, number 35. Devin Harper playing much better as well. Malik Jefferson doing great, even though he's banged up. So all these guys are really showing a linebacker. I feel good about the linebacking depth right now. It was a fear, I think, at the beginning of the offseason and the beginning of before training camp. I think we all feel a little bit better so far. But I'm still going to watch these guys, like those guys I just mentioned. All the way down to depth. I'm watching all these guys and how they contribute to this team. Specifically, Overshown, Jabril Cox, number 14, Overshown 35. I expect to see them a lot out there tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Now, the final part of the defense, I guess, is a secondary here, and cornerbacks and safeties. And there were some breakdowns last week. Okay, we had Wanye Thomas getting that interception off Trevor Lawrence, which is great. But there were some breakdowns as well, some easy touchdowns for Jacksonville, and they were just they were not consistent enough. There were too many inconsistencies by the defensive backfield, meaning not our three starters and not our three, at corner starters and three safety starters. Those guys basically didn't play. I'm talking about the depth. So there were six, again, too many breakdowns, but we did have 6 passes defensed. We did go up against, for true drives, Trevor Lawrence last week. Nathan Rourke, the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, had a very solid game and caught the defensive backs for the Cowboys out of position way too often. So this, I would say that outside of Wanye Thomas, everybody else kind of had a shitty coverage day, I will say, as far as the corners and safeties last week. And the specific one I'm watching this week, baby, it's going to be starter material here, is Deron Bland versus wide receiver rookie JSN. Jackson Smith and Jibba. All right, so battle-tested Deron Bland last year. It's going to get the real test of this 2023's preseason so far, and that's going to be first-round pick JSN. He's an Ohio State product. He also has Dallas-Fort Worth as his home, Rockwell. So he entered Seattle's preseason, coming off the final win with the Buckeyes, but he was, again, riddled with injuries that cut his time in the college side of things, right? Cut his time down in college for Ohio State. And then he was a 20th pick in April's draft. In preseason, kind of looking like he's back in his old form again. So he looks dangerous out there in his first preseason game there against Seattle last week. A quick route runner, short to intermediate range is where you're going to see him get open on a lot of occasions against the Vikings last week. He's going to try to do it again against our Cowboy backups and third stringers. He finished last week with 3 catches, 25 yards, and just a quarter of work. A little over a quarter. Bland, he lined up against he's going to be lining up against a very quick and physical receiver like Smith and Jabba. And Albert Munyerlin in the house.
Summing it up.
Welcome to the family. Appreciate you. So anyways, Bland is going to be lining up against JSN, who is a unique challenge for a slot nickel cornerback. All right? He's going to have to basically get his physicality into the hand placement to slow this guy down off the line of scrimmage, or else he's going to have one of his signature releases off the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a problem for Bland, but I like the test. I like the test for both guys, again, but I don't really care about Seattle. I care about Deron Bland. He's getting tested in this matchup here. So, again, keeping up with his speed of JSN is the other challenge. Bland is not the speed burner out there, so Bland's got to keep up with this guy who's very, very fast. A true and real challenge with Deron Bland, all right? So, I will say this. There's not many times you can line up against a rookie and get a true test, like a starter NFL quality test. Deron Bland is one of those guys that's going to get tested by a rookie, which you don't get very often, but he's an NFL starter rookie. He's day one starter as a rookie. So, great matchup there. I'm keeping my eyes on number 26, Deron Bland. Now, the last and definitely not the least, baby, is the kicker. Your favorite spot. I know you haven't really touched on anything we said here about the defense yet, but you can get your final wrap-up thoughts.
A few things earlier, but realistically speaking, we're
defensive backs, I guess.
We're pretty much on the same page on defense. It's more on the offense that we have a few slightly different opinions there. But look, this defense, it is the real deal. I can't remember who it was earlier that got a little bit not upset, but they just said hey, we're top 5. You should be calling us, the number 1 top defense. So
yeah, no, I agree. Listen, I agree, but I'll say this about the defensive backs. I want to see us play before I say they're top 1. I want to see it. I want to see it out there, top 3, top 5. It's whatever. Let's see what happens. We need consistency. We get consistency. We stop the run. It's a done deal. We stop the run. We're going to be the number 1 defense. That's a fact. Now I'm going to say something else. The last thing I want to say about defensive backs, the secondary. I got to see more from number 1, Kelvin Joseph. I got to see more from Deshaun Wright, number 25. We got to see more from these guys. Eric Scott Jr., I like to see what he can bring to it. He had a bad game last week. Our rookie cornerback, 6th rounder. I want to see what that crew is going to do. Because those are the guys that are under pressure. They're the ones that are on the bubble, in my opinion, in different ways. Now, special teams might keep them on the team. And you might have to cut someone like C.J. Goodwin and put him on the practice squad or something. But I do think that the Cowboys, we got to see what we got when we get past, Jordan Lewis, and to the Eric Scotts, that maybe trajectory is up, and other guys that maybe going down, like Deshaun Wright and Kelvin Joseph. I do think that Mukwamu is another guy to kind of keep an eye on at the safety spot. Marquise Bell, watch those guys tomorrow.
So, maybe it's that Messi, right, to kick for us. Yeah, I don't know if we can afford him. I have a feeling it might be out of Jerry's price range, right? Landlord from Alabama, what's up?
In the house.
Hello and hi.
Checked out his show the other night.
Yes, guys, make sure to check him out. Give him some love. Show him some love. What's up, Frank Moyer? Hello and hi. So let me start doing some of the shout-outs here in a moment after you're done touching on one of the last.
Your favorite part. Your favorite part, but special teams, well, specifically the kicker. That's the last of all my. Again, I went through this whole thing, and probably next week will be very similar before the game. But kicker, of course, we got to see Brandon Aubrey, how he's going to do. Were the Cowboys really going to go with Aubrey going into this season, guys? I believe we should be looking and eyeballing Mason Crosby. There's Matt Prater still out there, I think. There's a lot of guys out there. So what I heard is that the Cowboys are going to wait till all 3 preseason games, and if Aubrey just can't cut it, we're going to pick up a veteran then. Veterans are ready to go. Their legs are ready at all times.
Crosby in the last
week. Yeah.
And he's going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's... I'm being honest, guys. I'm not saying that I want it or I don't want it. That's the word from the Cowboys organization. They're looking to put Aubrey through the whole 3 preseason games and then deciding, do we just pick up like a Mason Crosby, for example? Robbie Gould, I doubt it because he's not doing kickoffs. Are they going to, they'll go with one of these veteran guys, and cut Aubrey and just pick up a veteran guy. Throw him on the team. He don't need any practice. We know what Mason Crosby can do and not do. They'll probably have a quick workout, and then he's good to go. A veteran is a veteran. And again, we got the ends with McCarthy if it's someone like Crosby. Anyways, point is, we got to see what happens. Aubrey missed an extra point in the game. You guys remember that? I mean, a nightmare once again for the Niners. He did do better in the practice. I will say this. He only missed 1 kick. In 11 out of 12 he was during practice, mojo moments, all that good stuff. He missed it from 40 yards, though. I got a problem with that. He's not even attempting. If he was making them from 53, 57, 42, 45, 30, and he misses a 40-yarder, I can live with that. But he ain't making them from 50. He ain't kicking them farther than 45-yard line.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He hasn't even attempted a 50-yarder yet. So McCarthy's not going to rely on long kicks to win games this year. He's going to go for it on 4th down. He's going to punt the ball and pin a team and let the defense go there and tear their fucking heads off. That's the plan for this team. Offense, defense, special teams. So, at least with Aubrey, that's my guess, and I can only guess, guys. So,
I mean, again,
this could haunt us if we don't go a different direction. This can haunt us in a real game when we really need that win, and you can't go on a 4th down, and you got to go to the next round, and you got to make this field goal, and then Aubrey steps up to the plate. That's an issue. That's going to bite us in the fucking ass if we mess around. So again, a former soccer player. I'm far from sold on this guy. All right. He switched from kicking a football when he didn't make it in the MLS, and he made it for he kicked 30 kicks in the USFL in 2 years. He's barely accurate from 45. I mean, he's getting better, but I can't just wait on somebody. So you need kickers to win games in the NFL. Sorry. So I am still dumbfounded why Jerry Jones has been waiting this long. It's going to wait for us to be costing us a game or a playoff game. I mean, that's a nightmare, but it's possible when we're relying on a guy like Brandon Aubrey as of now. So I would love to see him be perfect and great and all that stuff. I don't know why we don't go with a veteran kicker sooner or later. They're going to give him the full run of things here, guys. In the USFL draft, Aubrey was selected by the Birmingham Stallions, and he made 14 of 15 field goals that rookie year. He finished third in the USFL in scoring, earned himself this invitation to the Cowboy training camp, and he knocked out Tristan Vizcaino, by like one less missed field goal. Let's be honest. So, again, guys, I need to see him make more consistent kicks from more than 45 yards out and stop trying only 45 yards and closer.
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
have a feeling
that's all I have to say about him.
If we stick with Aubrey, like you said, McCarthy already has something percolating behind the scenes for what happens if we're not within Aubrey's range,
His range is what, though? 30? I'm nervous. I don't know what it is.
I feel like past 40, you're starting to get tricky.
We're in trouble.
And by 45, it's like you hit your ceiling. You hit your limit.
Boy. Well, then we need to go get Basic Crosby ASA freaking P. That's what I'm saying. All right, baby. I'm ready for the game tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Adjust accordingly in your time zone. We'll see you back here for the live reaction. Full play-by-play watch party here with the family. You guys joining us. I can't wait to hear what you think as we're watching this with you guys, talking about it. And we'll be chilling here, rooting on for that navy blue, silver, and star for everything. Number one thing we want to see tomorrow. The number one thing, baby. What's the number one thing we want to see tomorrow? No injuries.
No injuries.
No injuries. That's number one.
People in the back, no injuries.
No injuries. How about the people in the chat? Let's get the last quick comments, the shout-outs, the 2-hour Power Pack show, and say goodnight.
Let me see. Cactus G, have a great night. Landlord from Alabama, thanks for rolling through.
Hey.
Asmodi is saying they didn't put enough attention at the kicker position. Now it's biting them square in the ass. Yeah. Chomp, chomp.
Can't risk that in the regular season or forget. I don't want to talk about playoffs.
So, Jason Cervantes, of course, thank you. Scorpio in the house. Griff 181 representing Thomas Garrett. The superior Garrett. Frank Moyer, much love. Let me see. I almost shout out myself. Cactus G in the place to be.
A lot in the place to be. Now, this is the place to be.
This is the place to be. So, Mark Hovsepian, of course,
Big
rolling
Mark.
through, coming through. Thank you, Mark. We have Cam, DC4L, Frame Rippers, Asmodeus. No, I'm trying to make sure I'm going. It's people we already shouted out, so I'm just trying to go through and make sure I see other. Let me see Harold Jones, Kelly Lincoln, that's as far back as I can go on my side. So, with that said, baby.
Yes.
Before we tell the people why we do what we do, we have to shout out the sponsor of the week, the Cash App King. We all know why he's here, representing.
Boom.
Snug X, much love.
He's sponsor of the week, trying to go back to back because he's in the lead on the overall board. He's in the lead on the Cash App board, trying to go back to back. So always, much love to Mr. X, Snug X. Appreciate it. He's got he's bullseyeing that back to back, and Jason Renfro's bullseyeing the other side of things, baby. He's got 21 Stephon Gilmore points on the Stream Boss. He's also one back. As far as we can gather right now, he's one back on Skeptical Fan on the gifting lead. 2 days to go. We'll see what happens. But Mr. Jason Renfro, he's got back-to-back himself, baby. He's going for that 3-peat, and he's one back on Skeptical Fan as of now. Bobby Bottles, he's a couple back on Jason Renfro as well in that battle for that top spot. Right now, the crown is being held by Jason there, and he's trying to go for that 3 in a row. We'll see what happens, baby. Tomorrow is a kickoff, another. Again, last week we kicked off the season of our 7th season here on MCF on our reaction live streams. But tomorrow we do Game 2 of Season 7 for us and Game 2 of the 2023 NFL football season. So, baby, before we can get out of here, and we got to tell them why we do this. Why are we this crazy? We talk about our Cowboys for 1.5, 2 hours every single day for into our 7th year. Why do we do this here on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here we rep that star over everything, no matter what. And here, like I said, 6 years plus, officially on YouTube. Family, new family members, old family members, the OGs. Appreciate everybody in the house with us as we keep growing forward, going towards 30,000 family members. Can't do this without you guys' love and support. And here on YouTube, in this little corner of YouTube, here on My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here. Number one thing now, number one thing forever, as always. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Can't not do this MCF experience without your drops of knowledge, your discussions about our Cowboys up in that chat. And also, can't do this without the drops of love from above. So truly humbled and appreciated from the best fans of all YouTube right here. The family members keeping the thing going. Especially tonight, Snug X ripping it up. Jason Renfro, of course, right there in second place. Double R, Brandon James Shea, Mark Hovsepian. Also dropping a little love here from above tonight. So, baby, before we can drop out and clock out for the night, which is where we're at right now on My Cowboys Family, we must also relock and reload for what? Tomorrow is our, weekly game day live stream reaction, I guess you could say. And another one, a watch party play-by-play style right here. You know how we do it here on MCF. So, before we can do that, though, we got to clock out and drop out for the night, baby. Before we can get on out of here, say goodnight, and drop out for the night here on MCF, why don't you tell everybody what we got to do first?
We got to drop the beat.
Any other hesitation? Yes, you almost got me there.
Build up the anticipation.
Yeah. Thank you all for rocking with us here as we drop
You see, our
that
Cowboys
beat.
are hitting the field.
Yeah, we're gonna be. Yeah, you see us tomorrow. You'll be hearing about our Cowboys immediately when you turn on this channel at around 10 o'clock Eastern time, guys. A little before that, probably. So thank you all for hanging with us once again here. The second preview of this preseason of this year. And join us once again tomorrow for the watch party, play-by-play style here, week 2, game 2 of the preseason at the Seattle Seahawks. I can't wait. And, what the hope is for tomorrow, guys? No injuries, number one. Hey, and let's show them what we got tomorrow. These birds, I'm ready to show them what we got. Let's chop them. I'd rather just wait for the regular season to get the win. Let's just show some talent here, some depth tomorrow against these Seahawks. Here, yeah, we talked about it all, the good, bad, and ugly, as we always do here for 7th season and 6 years on YouTube here at My Cowboys Family. And then a lot of guys to watch tomorrow. You see most of these guys right here on your screen. If you're not sure, watch the thumbnail, look at the thumbnail, listen to the stream again on double speed. Leave your comments down below, hit the like, and hit that subscribe if you haven't yet. Right here on MCF, where it's always about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Yeah. Never ever forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house. Appreciate you all. Can't do this without the family. Stay safe, guys. Get ready for that big game tomorrow. Once again, preseason game 2. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. And never ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.